To complete 100% of Arco, I'm going to have to cross scorching deserts, uncover the truths of the most deepest sanctums, finish the game at least twice, and steal a donkey. And listen, the game takes inspiration from various Mesoamerican and South American cultures during the Spanish colonization of the Americas. I'm sorry if I butcher some of the names in the game, but I'm not Spanish. No habla español. So what is 100% of this game? There isn't a progress bar nor a completion log for me to obsessively follow, so I guess I have to make my own rules. So that would be the game's 54 achievements, 7 of those hidden, and I'll have to complete the game at least twice due to multiple endings. Spoiler alert, I had to play the game 4 times for the last achievements. Brutal. Also, I've had a cold that never seems to be willing to give up, so I might sound a little better than I usually do. Sorry about that. Anyway, welcome to 100% of Arco. It begins with a pilgrimage. A boy and his family are on their way to visit the sacred tree.
There once lived a boy. Oh, I'm supposed to press something. The boy's family lived off the land. All was well.
And just short of their destination, they set up camp.
Oh, I'm riding my llama. Hello? 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 Oh, look at the sheep. Look at the sheep. They're cubes.
I found an interesting menu where I could access my journal, map, skill tree, and inventory, and my name looked to be
Tecolocotl. Tecolotl. Tecolotl.
Was a rather hard name to pronounce for me, so I shall henceforth be known as
Teco. I want to see the tree. Why did we stop here? I don't know. Gotta rest up.
Cause I was getting antsy. She wanted to see the big tree now, and so was I for that matter. But I had urgent matters to attend to, like petting this donkey.
Pet the donkey. It's a donkey. Pet the donkey. It's a donkey. Pet the donkey. It's a donkey. Pet the donkey. It's a donkey. Pet the donkey. It's a donkey. Pet the donkey. No more pets for you. Get yelled at by the donkey.
Our first achievement stumbled into our portfolio, and the hunt has hereby commenced. I found Dad by the campfire, sporting one of the most menacing horseshoe mustaches out west. He was whittling and sharpening arrows when he told me to go look for Othil, who apparently needed my help. Right next to him was Grandpa, deep in a raging snooze, and Mother, ever the tender and nurturing soul she is, thrust a couple of tamales into my possession. In the company of a pair of llamas, I find Othil.
You call that a mustache? Up your game, old-timer.
Yes, my dad's got a bigger and better mustache than your dad. Othil needed help gathering some yarrow to help ail poor Roberta's snot-shooting honker. Kinda like me.
Meadow added to the map. New mission marked in the journal. Big white flowers. You got it. Pet the llama. Oh, choo! Is that the llama Roberto? I was so not ready for that.
And so, with my trusty steed, I head west toward the meadow to find some yarrow. Which I do, but it's smeared with a gooey black substance. Carefully, I try to separate the clean yarrow, but end up with most of it on myself.
Oh, a treasure. You notice something shimmering in the long grass. It's a golden coin. Lucky you! Coins. I'm rich.
Packed with treasure, I head back toward the sick llama and deliver the yarrow to Othil. And I get to keep the excess, as Roberto only needs a little bit.
Oh, and here's something for your troubles. More coins? Mm-hmm. Seems like it's early retirement for Takutokol.
Othil and Roberto notice that I'm a filthy mess, covered in the black substance, so I set about remedying that.
Lost item, dirty yarrow. You feel a lightness in your being. Okay. Are these ghosts?
The ghosts represent our character's guilt. The actions we make along the way will shape our journey. If we happen to choose a more sinister path rather than one of light, I'd argue the more fun of the two, it will weigh heavily on our mind. For the first time in our life, we've been let out of our bachelor tent. As we take in the many new sights, we're joined by our father. A troubled look clouds his face as he informs me that strangers have been spotted near the sacred tree. Forebodingly, he insists,
let's brush up on your training. Hell yeah!
Arco is a blend of turn-based and real-time combat. It's split into 2 phases, planning and action. I'm not too heavy on the planning part myself. I learned how to move and to deliver staggering blows to my stationary scarecrow sparring partners. Each action consuming different amounts of Maya, which in Spanish means magic, I think. So for future references, I'm just gonna call it magic. Comprende? De nada, por favor. Tranquillo, tranquillo. Whatever that means. And just above the magic meter, you can see that I have 3 little Teco health points as well. Papa congratulates my takedown of the scary crows and offers himself as a moving mark. The different icons upon the target's head is a variety of different actions the enemy will take. This one means the target will move, while this one means run for your life or daddy's going to slice your throat. All great indicators of what's coming next.
Oh, sorry, Papa. Not bad, kid. You got some punches. I'll fight back now, Steph. Okay, you're like twice my size, Dad. Come on.
I could also interrupt his attacks with my steaming hot punch, and when he hauled tomatoes my way, I had to run in a zigzag pattern to get out the way. For even more evasion, another option was to curve my movement, something I really didn't use much in the grand scheme of things. But I got sacked in the face by a tomato and was deemed unworthy. I eventually evaded my ketchup fate, delivering a fatal blow to his dadsicles.
You've gained 10 experience.
But practice wasn't over. It was time to grab the Arco out of my tense basement, and by spending my 10 hard-earned experience points, I acquired the shoot arrow ability.
I'm supposed to actually shoot you? They're padded arrows, kid. Don't you worry, you can't hurt me. Your mom would kill me if I died.
Some abilities will take 2 or even more turns to land, so planning is crucial. Damn planning. With 2 arrows piercing my dad's chest, training was over, and I caught father staring off into the horizon again. He was in his usual retrospective mood, challenging my knowledge of the secret survival techniques of us IOs.
We adapt, we overcome. We dodge, dive, dip, duck, dive, and dodge again.
He also pushed another lesson about never forgetting who I am and to do what you gotta do in order to survive.
Well, that's enough chit-chat. I've grown bored of your company. You should look for an offering for the tree.
I'd yet to find a suitable offering for the sacred bark, and talking with Kosa, whom I can only assume is my little sister, she was also out of ideas. But not for the lack of trying. She'd overheard the adults talking about a cave, and while looking for it, she'd scraped her kneecap on the rocky path. Too small to succeed, she entrusted me with the location of the cave to scout. Before leaving for adventure, I checked in on the family. Father was still whittling away on his owl, and Snoozy Gramps made an appearance.
Oh, heralds of death!
Father assured me that I'm not a bad omen. Given they knew a great change was coming, I was named Tekolokolol for my own protection. I have no idea what that means. Is that supposed to calm us down? I don't know. But our trip to the sacred tree was now delayed due to the strangers, or newcomers as they're called, and we would be stuck here for a few days. On the bright side, this would give me enough time to find a suitable gift for the tree. Kitlali, an avid collector of exotic artifacts, had bartered a rattler tail from some Tuag traders. A great offering to the sacred tree, I thought, and asked what she wanted for it.
Lizard eggs. Okay, I thought you were gonna trade for coins like a regular person, but no, you want lizard eggs.
Following my dear sister's sketch, I find her cave, and just beside it, I heard of tak-taks grazing. I scoured the field for hidden treasure, as one must when hunting for the elusive 100% completion rate, when my nostrils are suddenly assaulted by the stench of reptilian feces. It made me think of their delicious eggs. I could almost taste them already. I make it into the cave and it's time for my first
fight!
My first arrow missed the slithering poo, which made me go up close and personal with the turd. I was then ambushed by 2 of his stinky friends.
Oh, he got me! He got me! Ugh.
With the amphibians skinned alive, I could leave with a trophy of 3 tasty lizard eggs.
And then Sergio and Teko went back to camp, and everybody was probably dead.
To my surprise, everyone was still breathing, and Kosa was impressed by my deeds, and especially the lizard eggs. But it was Kitlali I had to bargain with.
Yep! Trade it! Cool.
I got the elusive rattler tail, and my offering to the sacred tree was secured. By the campfire, Mom was now serving up some good food, and Gramps had awoken from his epic snooze. As we feasted on Mom's pozole, he told us the tale of the sacred tree. Once, a legendary Ayo hunters became obsessed with the rarest prize, the blue jaguar, bearer of the heavens. When she finally killed it, the gods punished her, turning her into a tree to carry its burden for eternity. Honestly, sounds like a great time. As Grandpa's story continued, our eyelids grew heavier and heavier until we finally lost the battle to snoozage.
You wake in the middle of the night, and I'm apparently mounted to my llama. That's some serious sleepwalking.
The thoughts of that sacred bark haunted my dreams. If I didn't leave now, I might never get to see the sacred tree and give her my offering. So I looked to my dad's chest where he keeps his maps, but it was sealed tight.
Teko, don't you do it.
Papa was dreaming of some juicy tamales, so slipping the key of his neck was easy.
Hell yeah, we are a professional burglar. Frodo Baggins is my name.
I unlock the chest and get the location of the tree. I'm filled with doubt, but without any offerings, the tree has no connections and will be alone for all eternity. I basically have no choice, right?
Damn it! Teko is impressionable, Dad! This is on you. This is not me. I'm merely going through a premeditated story. I'm in for the ride. This is on you, Dad.
As I prepare to leave camp, a judgmental owl hoos at me. He's been eyeballing me all week. I pass through the meadows to get to the tree, and I'm suddenly ambushed by a horde of angry beetles. I blew up this explosive cactus, gain some beetle experience, and I'm again on my way, and it doesn't take long until the tree stands tall before me.
Hello, says Teko.
I'm beginning to have second thoughts about my offering. What if it's not personal enough? It's a tree though, so how personal does it really have to be?
Get close to the tree to deliver your offering. I don't wanna.
But I muster up the courage, zigzag toward trunk, and while admiring the floating lights, they close in on me. Turns out they're hostile fireflies, but that's not a problem. because, well, they're tiny fireflies. As I make it past these flying insects, the adrenaline from fighting suddenly leaves me, and I'm overcome with sleepiness. I'll wake up the next day with a pounding headache, but before I make it home to face father's wrath and mother's tamales, I turn to offer up my rattler's tail to the tree. But a bullet suddenly whistles past my head and I'm approached by a couple of strangers. They're the newcomers father warned me about. I try to make my escape, but they're too quick. Before I know it, we're locked in a good old gaucho standoff. I had enough experience so I bought the dash ability. This helped me close gaps quickly, and as a bonus, I can dash over holes. I sprint past the first 3 gunslingers into the next canyon, where I dodge the initial bullet frenzy, but end up dashing into the oncoming fire.
Oh! Little Teco just died!
I course correct and attempt to dash over the canyon instead. You win again, Gravity. This time I managed to clear the canyon, interrupt this fella's attack, before hopelessly trying to outrun his bullets, which end up in my sore behind.
Cough, cough, I'm hit! I'm hit!
Limping, I make it back to civilization, only to find that the newcomers have set up a rig extracting the black gunk Othil so despised.
Oh, I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding.
The scary men grab me, arguing about whether to kill me or press me for information about the whereabouts of my camp. I don't think I gave them any information, but honestly, I remember little after taking a buckshot to the ribcage. In a feverish dream, I can hear the newcomers slaughter my village. Mom and Dad cry out my name in terrifying desperation. This is where Act 1 ends and Act 2 begins. I find myself on a llama again. Seems to be a theme going around. Dressed in a red hat and a poncho. I can also see that my name is not that of a bad omen anymore, but Tizo, which I have no idea what it means, probably translates to having a huge cock. That incredibly stylish horseshoe mustache screams foreshadowing though. I'm looking for my good old friend Yorka. He scribbled some directions on a piece of paper for me to follow. I run across Estli, and it turns out Yorka is a great grandpa these days, and she introduces me to little Ko. I interrupt her idle chit-chat about where I'm from and cut straight to the point. When is Yorka expected back? Offended, she snarls that he's out attending the cattle, but should return shortly. Killing time, I strike up a conversation with the gentleman Puso, who's really impressed by my rattlesnake boots. And honestly, who wouldn't be? I need to get myself a pair.
Alright, Yorka.
Yorka finally shows up, and his jaw practically hits the dung on the ground when he sees this ghost of his past. Turns out we got a long history together. Over a meal we talk about his family, and nobody's mentioning any past unpleasantries. It's a vibe. After some catching up, Yorka mentions that if I'm short on coin, he's got some pesky lizards that need taken care of. What's up with all these lizards? Why does everyone have a problem with a lizard infestation? As a self-titled lizard vanquisher, or a lizard eggs connoisseur, whichever you prefer, I accept the job and head toward Murso Farm, where Nosa and Cora are already clued in about who I am. They warn me about the bandits out west and are kind enough to pack me a snack for the road. Through the nearby meadow, I run across a stupid-looking rabbit with his legendary stupid friend, pick some herbs, and make it to the shrine of Yosa, where an old woman is praying. I choose not to disturb her deep prayers, and I'd offer something to the statue, but the damn thing declares I have nothing of value. How do I have silch to my name? I mean, I've got to be at least 50. Deeper into the mountains, I run into the lizards and find a pair of human tracks, so I figure there might be a human camp nearby as well. I rustle through some bushes and stumble upon a shiny ring. Nice. But no time to celebrate. I've got lizards to deal with. Tizo is a beast with the bow, just like little Teco used to be. A couple of well-placed shots and the lizards are down for the count. I skin him and grab one of those fancy lizard eggs everyone is so mesmerized by, and call it a productive day. But wait, that's not all. I also managed to gather what meat is left on this goat.
I got meat, baby.
I take a detour on my way back through the human camp, and while investigating this corpse of a tac-tac, some local predators sneak up on me.
Damn. Long-range lob shot damages multiple enemies, lands in 2 turns, interrupts.
With this new area of effect lob shot, the insect predators pose no game. They can't even catch a stuck-up old guy. Why am I even giving them the title of predator?
These bugs ain't gonna get me. The only good bug is a dead bug.
I hate stinky bugs. In stupid rabbit land, I spot a couple of mysterious gentlemen. I circle this green bush not to be seen by the dashing-clad cowboys, and notice some hidden loot in the copse guarded by a trap. I disarm the trap and walk away with 2 coins, a bandage, and a snare. What a find indeed. Unfortunately, I step on another rig trap and ouch, lose 2 whole health points, just in time to leave me unprepared for the upcoming brawl. Perfect.
Newcomer Poacher is his name. Shut up, Newcomer Poacher! Get a real name. Oh, my lord. Oh, I can see if they're actually gonna hit me with spacebar as well. That's beautiful.
That was a great find. Now I don't have to guess. Though, it wouldn't always work out that way.
Okay, a shovel man. Shovel guy is actually his name, and a bandit.
Shovel guy wasn't very bright and walked into his own trap, and the other guy ate one of my arrows from above.
The name's Tizo. You better remember it, bitch. Okay, let's go back to Murtsako. Oh! The hell? Everywhere I go, death follows.
When I return, Yorka's village is burning, and my face goes pale as I take in the devastation. What's worse is when I find the body of Puso, my great admirer.
Man, and he admired my boots? Not a lot of people who liked my boots.
The loss is great, and it only gets worse when I find Yorka, struck down by his house. I find a necklace that means nothing to me, but at least I know it's conic workmanship. And in one of the less burnt houses, I found a little kid, still breathing.
You're safe now, or you see who did this. Well, I'm all for that revenge.
It was Keo, heeding to Graham's instruction to hide. Smart kid.
Keo joins your party. A party of 2! Look at my little companion, he looks like a bell.
That little bell's legs would prove to be quite swift, as I wouldn't let him ride on my llama. Get your own llama, kid. I also find a clue about who might have done this, a set of contradictory boot prints. Pair that with the Canuck necklace, and I must be on the trail of a fashion mogul. We pass through a meadow, spotting some pixelated camels, and chat with a couple of Tuareg traders. Friendly as ever, I offer to share a meaty meal with the two, but they kindly decline. In a nearby hut, I find a delicious-looking lamb. I figured I'd pet it a bit before claiming its juicy meat, but the clever beast sniffed out my sinister intent and bolted. Looks like meat's back off the menu, Keo. But all is not lost, as I find some stinky cheese in the cupboard. And almost as good as the stinky cheese, we find Keo's mother, Estli, alive and well in the village of Corny. I break the bad news that everyone back in her village is toast, but I vow to find the culprits and make them pay. After bidding farewell to Keo, I take a moment to freshen up and refill my water skin before speaking to Paquini. He shares some intel on the local bandits, but seems hesitant. According to him, they might steal a cow now and then, but they wouldn't wipe out an entire village. I say, bonk to that. There's no harm in checking them out, right? Leaving town, a lonely traveler stops me in my tracks. Atsi needs an escort to the monk village of Onim. Not for any higher reasons, mind you, but to drink and gamble his troubles away. Shame on you, I say, as I promptly invite him to join the party. And it turns out he's not alone.
Donkey joins your party. Hell yeah! Donkey, Atsi, and Tizo out adventuring.
Are we there yet?
Bandits.
I eavesdrop their boastful conversation about their chicken-stealing exploits and manage to overhear the location of their so-called Fortress of Solitude. Unfortunately, a pie-eyed bandit stumbles into us, and we're in another brawl.
What's that? Can't be hit. Ghost. He's coming towards me. Ah!
That little white floating blob is a ghost, a manifestation of our guilt. Unlike these bandits, ghosts don't abide by the laws of the universe. They're relentless, creeping in even during the planning phase, and slowly but surely haunting your pixelated mind into oblivion. I dodge some more, fire off some shots, take a shovel to the sombrero, and still manage to take out the trash. Looting their carcasses rewards me with gold coins and meat, but no chicken. And what a shame. I could have really gone for some wings right about now. I inspect their boot prints, but find no match to the ones from before. Oh, and in one of their houses, there was this unassuming chest. Locked, of course. I fire off a round, and holy smokes, it explodes. The blast knocks us back, and I take damage.
Oh, thank God.
Deeper into the woods, I find the bandits' hidden camp and dismount. Trying to be stealthy, I immediately walk into a bear trap. Miraculously, I get to keep my leg, and Atsi couldn't be more helpful. I remedied that hemorrhaging steel leg with 3 pieces of Murso, and now, fully aware of the traps, I stay on my toes, disarming one as we move forward. The only real trap left is Atsi's giant pie hole. This is the second time I've had to tell him to sip it.
Phew! Shh!
I whip out my bow and use its string to take down the guards silently. As we inch closer to the camp, I spot yet another set of boot prints. Still no match. But it's too late to turn back now. These crooks are going to have to pay. At the camp's edge, I find the perfect spot for an ambush. I aim for a hornet's nest, thinking it will send them into a panic and give me the chance to search for evidence. Genius, right? Except I totally miss the hive, lose my footing, and tumble right into their lap. Before the fight, I acquire both a magic point and an ability slot, which I, for some reason, don't assign a skill to. What a wonderful non-upgrade that was. I follow that up with eating a lot of bullets and die. Don't you worry, I'll make this masterclass available for free on Skillshare soon. With a bit more composure, I managed to take down the shovel and gun-wielding bandits, leaving just one final opponent, Buckshot Brigand. His shotgun is deadly at close range, but keeping my distance, I outrun his bullets and finish the fight.
And you're dead.
Speechless after the fight, Atsi look at me in horror. I try to defend my actions with some rock-solid they might have burned down Yorka's village logic, but my search for proof comes up empty and Atsi raises a valid point.
Maybe one of these connects dropped the necklace. None of the connects here are wearing any jewelry. I don't think this group burned down Prosecco. You need to keep looking.
This doesn't stop me from looting their camp though, and I end up leaving with a ring, some meat, and a couple of hardtack biscuits. But not before Atsi's money senses start tingling. I ignore him with full intentions of coming back later, alone and with a shovel. A step closer to Onim, I find a monolith with a small cave opening at its base. I rid the entrance of beetles and clear out the cave to find a few mushrooms. And wouldn't you know it, a boot print that could be a match for the one from Urseco. Like a bloodhound, I follow the trail, uncovering another print. The tides have turned.
A match.
I hear voices coming from the nearby cave with a familiar Termano twang. Red Company men. The voices mention troublesome monks. Intrigued, I peek inside, but I'm yet again led down by my clumsy feet. As I dispose of the shovel men, they drop a stub of dynamite that apparently my inventory is too crammed up to carry. This confused me as I barely have any items at all, but what the game actually means is that your EQ slot is full. So if I upgrade an additional slot, I'll be able to pick up that juicy dynamite! Squirming on the floor, the bloodied bandit begs for it to end. I jingle the necklace in front of him, pushing for answers. He laughs defiantly. I could smack him around a bit, but I'm already too deep in this manhunt, so...
Well, I'm gonna take his ear. Alright, Van Gogh. Does this necklace belong to you? That old thing?
But the weak bandit dies before revealing anything useful. Atsi sighs in relief, now that all this bloodshed is over. But to that I say, boo-hoo. The Red Company is still out there, and whether the Conics are involved remains a mystery. The Red Company men were headed to the village of Onum to speak with the monks about the Conics, so that's exactly where I'm going next. Just past the monolith, we come across a lone traveler. Not thinking much of it, I grab my Arco. But the traveler is quick to grab his rifle and fires off a shot at me. And I mean, what did I expect? I just went for my own life-ending device. The man is a sharpshooter, so I can't get an action in without taking a hit. But eventually his mag runs out, and I finally get a shot in. As I've more or less just murdered an innocent man nilly-willy, guilt hits me hard. But hey, searching his body cheers me up a bit. I find some coins, a smoke bomb, and a map to his hideout. Not only have I killed an innocent man, but now I also intend to go rob a potential spouse of his. If I can't beat the Red Company men, I might as well join them by now. In the next field, I run into what looks like another innocent traveler.
Ah, another enemy.
This time I keep the bow on my back, and the lovely lady offers me some tasty looking cookies. But I don't like cookies, and I'm rewarded for it. Actually, I do. I love cookies. I love cramming them in my face. I can't get enough.
Is there an achievement for like... Maybe I should check the achievements actually.
Ignorant me never looks ahead. On this relatively short journey, I'd already missed a lot of achievements on the road. Like that lamb with the juicy meat I let slip through my fingers. So far, I've only amassed 4 out of 54 achievements. Still, I like doing a clean playthrough before getting more intentional with the run. Through a boulder field, I'm ambushed by the infamous shovel gang. The who, I say, and decline their shovel toll. I'm not going to pay a bunch of diggers when I'm basically Legolas, so I dispose them rather quickly.
Guilt intact.
I arrive at Shepherd Village, where my first interaction is with a little kid looking for a nice stick. And strolling into the village, I'm greeted by a shepherd mentioning a lost lamb. A lamb? I don't even know what a lamb looks like. Well, what is it? I don't know of a lamb. I instead chat to this old-timer needing help with a package delivery. Atse is on my case about going the wrong way, but before turning around, I check out this cheesemaker's cheese. He has a lot of cheese. I can't move forward with the delivery yet, so I continue to own him. Where I think Atse was relieved, he arrived in one whole piece. Parting ways, he leaves me with some kind of wisdom.
What are you talking about, fool? Donkey, parted... No, not the donkey! And I was starting to like him. Atse, I don't care about you. Interested in trading? Sure, what do you have? A shovel! Good for digging holes. I'm gonna buy one. I'll buy a bandage as well.
With the shovel in hand, I remember the treasure we left down by the bandits' camp.
Traveling. Oh, I don't need to move. It's like fast travel, but it's not fast. It's like idle mode traveling.
With Atse out of the picture, I dug up the treasure and claimed 10 coins. So all in all, I basically spent 5 coins on that shovel. That's 66% off. What a bargain.
Ooh. Look at this monk village. So many monks.
As you'd expect in a village made for monks, by monks. And I could see why Atse chose this place to gamble his troubles away. The first monk I talked to offered me a game of chance. It was just a simple coin flip, and I took the friar for 2 of them.
Pay up! Lucky break, here you go. Bye! I took you for a fool, a fool!
I had many questions for the holy man. Questions like, why is the Red Company interested in you folks? And where do you shave your head? It's buttery smooth and incredibly shiny. But nothing in this world is free. They won't answer my very important questions until I rid their sacred temple of a nasty bugs infestation. At least they weren't all bad. They paid me a hefty reward up front. On my way, I take a detour past a windmill where I spark up a conversation with a farmer.
We've been pretty busy lately. What with the lizards eating most of our work dogs? Wow, those are mighty lizards.
Another region plagued by lizards. Naturally, I offered to help. I don't know what it is, but I've become incredibly empathetic to lizard problems these days. Just beyond their field, I found the reptiles and engaged immediately. Prior to the fight, I spent some experience on an extra health point, a dodge roll ability for a few invulnerability frames, and dash level 2. So the slithering beasts were no problem for my bow and string. The farmers were so delighted they shared a meal with me, restoring me back to full health. I stopped by this shepherd village again before a path opened up into the mountains, and past these very boring rocks, I'm jumped by a couple of bandits. Seems I can't go 5 minutes without someone ambushing me. I should really get a pair of eyes implanted in my neck, or at the very least a companion to watch my back. I don't know which easiest. They were more than a few bandits with a variety of rifles, pistols and moves. I also have moves. The dodge and run kind, take a bullet to the face kind, and eventually, the victorious kind.
A lone goat stands on top of the rock, watching you, completely unbothered by the fight that just unfolded. Staying in his lane, moisturized, thriving. Good for you, goat. Good for you.
That goat is really living his best life. Can't relate. I track down the old blind man and deliver his long-awaited package, and I'm rewarded handsomely for my trouble.
Here you go.
Leaving him to it, I spot some local mountain folk heading my way, so I try to disarm any ill will between us with a cheeky wave.
Their shock quickly turns into anger and they rush at you.
Is it my face? Am I that hideous and terrifying looking that you just have to punch it? That, or I've insulted too many shovel-wielding men because there were 3 more coming my way.
Who's that? Mage mercenary? Is he a friend? He's not a friend.
This fight was chaos, and vanishing the magician, I vowed to never wave again.
Shouldn't have waved. You feel a weight upon your spirit. What? They attacked me! Don't look at me, you damn bird.
I found a steep path between the boulders, uncovering the bounty hunter's hideout I waved to earlier. Upon closer inspection, the hideout is filled with bandits. Dynamite-throwing, gunslinging bandits. They also had 2 big bada-boom shotguns that nearly take my good leg off.
Your search pays off. Coins, bandages, shine powder, dynamite! Killing is my business. And business is good.
A couple of bites on the tasty lumber spread had my health and energy restored so I could reach the monk's abandoned temple. I climbed the stairs, and inside I'm met by another shovel guy shouting that the treasure is theirs. I disagree and fire off a well-placed arrow between his eyes. I do my usual zigzaggedy dance not to miss any secret treasures, and at the heart of the temple I run into more trouble.
Look at that cowboy. Oh, the pixel art is awesome.
Bullets flew through the air, and we're also joined by a horde of apex predators. With the vermin and insects swiftly handled, I could jump over this pillar using my dash level 2 ability. I dig through this rubble to uncover a golden tooth and an acid and smoke bomb. And looking behind this boulder, I get a new shovel and some gold nuggets. Very tasty. Deeper into the temple, I make it past a deadly hallway where at the end of it, a red bug and his friends try to nibble on my flesh. But that's nothing compared to this scary looking skeleton that appeared out of nowhere. But he's missing a lot of soft tissue and muscle fiber, so he's rather slow.
Ambushed, -1 turn. Oh my god, they're larvae! And they're disgusting! They're disgusting, you hear me?
And whatever this breathing sack is, looks like a nest of ticks to me. Absolutely disgusting. I don't want to see that. Ugh. With closed eyes through the entire fight, I put a stop to the baby factory and the death-rolling caterpillars. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a cleansed temple. The monks will be much pleased. But digging through this rubble, I found a secret path, leading me to more rolling ooze and something even more terrifying.
A cocoon! Furious cocoon.
That cocoon was so furious, it fired off egg projectiles my way.
Black ghosts are faster and needs to be attacked to disappear. God damn it. What did I just do?
Back again, and the butterfly emerges from its cocoon. A vibrant symbol of transformation and new life. It's beautiful.
Moon moth! 30 out of 30? Hell, man! I don't feel equipped for this.
With the power of flight and its impressive gusts of wind bringing down the temple piece by piece, my only option was to wait until it was somewhat stationary and in range. I obviously died more than a few times, and I was determined not to use up any experience points and best the beast with my current arsenal of weaponry. But that was mainly due to me being stupid, ignorant and forgetful. I even equipped an acid bomb I didn't use until the last attempt either. Flamin' nincompoop. But after 30 minutes of fighting or so...
Oh my god, I'm gonna get him! I'm gonna get him! I got him! I got the bastard!
Killing the queen, my mind is hijacked by an unsettling force, and I heard voices whispering from the altar. Like one always do when hearing voices, you adhere to their calls. So I placed my hand on the ominous altar and blacked out, only to wake up with a mysterious piece of a broken medallion. I snatched it and felt powerful. It also came with a new ability. As I come to my senses, I decide it's time to head out. Back in Onem, I speak to the elder leader who was so pleased with my conquest, he answered all my questions. The necklace I found earlier belongs to the Lady of Two Skies, the Conic noble, ruling over House Channel. I find his answers rather dubious, as he says there's apparently history between the Red Company men and the House of Channel. He implies they might have been in cahoots burning down Yorka's village. I have my doubts, and I think you'll see why in a minute or two. Anyway, he informs me I'll find this lady in the city of Tucson. Before leaving the monk village, I climbed to the top of the mountain, where I spot an abandoned house in the distance and the shrine of the one who appreciates gleamy gifts. But there is an achievement where I need to acquire a fortune, which is a whopping 40 coins, so stingy me decides to come back another day. On my way down the mountain, a shady-looking monk approached me. He speaks in riddles, but says there's an alternative path for sure vengeance on House Channel. Talk with the innkeeper at Tucson. Deliver this message and vengeance shall be yours. At the abandoned house, I found an awesome stick in the nearby bushes before my eyes comprehend what vile creatures occupy the dilapidated house.
Disgusting. I just killed your queen. Shouldn't you all be dead? Isn't that how it works with a hive mind kind of thing?
I can't allow these larvae to thrive, so I utilized these explosive orange sacks, whatever they are, to blow up the baby spawners and then switched up for close quarters combat inside the house. It was rather cramped for space, and this little ghost weirdo didn't help at all. It seems my guild is taking a beating because more and more weirdos kept spawning. I didn't find any valuables except this little gold nugget, and I burned my hand in the process, going down to critical health, and on top of that, I stink now. Not a great series of events, let me tell you.
Snack? Let's see what we get. Tiso passed away. Retry.
My final demise would end up being an uncooked mushroom. Also, I was lucky the game threw me an autosave just before I died because I had neglected saving my game even once so far. Tucson was due east, so I headed east, but not before the game stopped me at this windmill again, where all villagers near gagged at my presence. They wanted nothing to do with me. That gold nugget better be worth its price in coin. I remember this kid wanted a stick, so I gave him my pride and joy, easing my conscience in the process, and then headed into the thick conic forest, where I grabbed a few chilies and noticed a buff young girl punching a tree. Her name is Itse. More on this charming and cocky lady later, but turning away, I'm hit with an overwhelming urge I should gift her something.
Am I really supposed to give that away already?
Worried about decreasing my guild even further, as I wanted to finish the game with high guild now, after all my killing shenanigans, I come to my senses and leave her without a present. I come to a small red house where I flip a rock, find a worm, and acquire another awesome stick. The owner of the house is a herbalist, and he asks me to retrieve the juice of a mutated insect, which sounds like a swell idea, not gonna lie. I get a flask to collect its juices. I then come to a small lake where I cast out my fishing line and catch a piranha and a catfish. And I must have made these idiots jealous, as I'm surrounded by a gang of hungry toads. Before fighting ensues, I tend to my skill tree, where I have a lot of unspent experience. I end up getting 2 new ability slots, 2 magic points, 2 EQ slots, and a passive ability that gives me 1 extra magic point for each turn. I also purchased the quick shot ability, which I immediately upgraded to level 2, a speed buff, and I equipped the drain magic ability I got from the medallion, which I end up never using. Seriously, I don't think I used it once during the whole playthrough. Anyway, these amphibians wouldn't stand a chance, and the hungry became the prey. I took my toad legs to the fallen tree, where I come across an enormous tree trunk blocking the path. Oh, and did I mention it's swarming with huge insects? I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, yes, definitely.
A big beetle.
This giant ladybug was impervious to my arrows, leaping with fury and summoning baby bugs. I figured I needed armor-piercing arrows to tame the bug, but a well-placed Tiso with a well-placed arrow through this orange substance, and she became subservient to my blows. I also had to squash her entire family.
Ladybug, you did. Can I pick him up?
To my surprise, this was the juice the herbalist wanted me to collect.
Beetlejuice. I got your juice.
Before I even get the chance to hand him the flask, he snatches it, popping it open and chugging down the honey-like substance, morphing into a humanoid beetle. My absolute disgust offends him, and now he wants to eat me for dinner. He spawned these stinky perpetual insect clouds that would deal damage, and while he charged, I made good use of my new quickshot ability. He also fired off these green-like balls, which I can only assume poisons you should you get hit, which I managed to avoid with my nimble and delicate-like feet. I do wish I would have killed him sooner though, because it became rather crowded, but I managed to get away with my last health point intact. Raiding his house, I walked away with gold, hardtack, whatever this thing is, fungus-clad paku. Reaching the city of Tucson, I find the inn the shady-looking monk was talking about. So I asked myself if I should give the nobles a chance to explain themselves. Absolutely not, someone has to pay for it, and it's gonna be the first person I get my hands on.
I'm still bleeding. I'm going around bleeding on the floor here.
Perfectly normal, apparently, as no one complained about me bleeding all over their cuisine.
I got a message for you. The moth flew into the flame. It's time for sunset.
The innkeeper answered with an equally oblique message before giving me a map and a bed to wait for nightfall. I like to be thorough though, so I asked him to clarify what I needed the map for. No, that's not right. I'm a noodle with very little brain activity, so I needed him to spell it out for me.
Oh. Right. The stars?
Just wait here and kill the lady, he said. She'll be at either of these two locations. So I shut my eyes for a bit and then head out to scout the first location, where I overhear an interesting conversation. Lady Two Skies will be here at any moment, so I conked this fella on his noggin, grabbing the bundle he so cradled. The egg inside is supposedly beautiful, but to me it just looks like a plain lizard egg. Quick on my feet, I conjure up a lie about being Ike's friend, and I hand the egg to the farmer. And then I wait for what seems an eternity. No signs of Lady Two Skies. So I check out the other place. It's so lively that they mistake me for a server, late for his shift. I get a plate of crickets shoved in my hand and I figure might as well serve them as I look for the Lady of Many Skies. But she's nowhere to be seen, until I hear Fate shouting coming from outside. Turns out it's Cox, the lady's nephew. He's most concerned with the overcooked food this establishment would force upon the lady, and he announces their departure.
Where's it going?
I follow him, of course, and enter the palace through a secret pathway.
You notice a floor trap. Looks like you can just jump it. Whee! Hello?
This time I didn't wave, but my oral greeting did no better. I had a great start to the fight, even though the room was the size of a cupboard. So I got a little cocky. After all, they were chunky and I scrawny. Strategically, they placed themselves in the center and swung hard. After one too many failed tussles...
Ouch. Okay, let's check the skills.
Often when you get stuck fighting in this game, you have to change up your skills and strategy. In favor of the drain magic ability that I never use, I got a kick that stuns the target. The kick was however absorbed by their shield, so I changed up again with a teleport. But did I mention the room is small? I'm pretty sure I did. Oh yes, definitely. They mauled me down anyway. My next idea was to increase my damage output with shotgun arrows, which I immediately upgraded to level 2. It was cool and all, but I died a few more times after that anyway. For my last attempt, I equipped a Vigor-thorn. This gives me +2 damage for 3 turns. It also poisons the user, but I was willing to take the risk. I also skimmed through the text and didn't realize until it was too late. Combined with shotgun arrows, I decimated the first guard, and when I got cornered by the other, I used quick shot and he was down for the count. The next room was the throne room, and it looked to have just witnessed a bloodbath. The 5 guards still standing took me for another intruder, and fighting ensued. But they were let down by their chunkiness in this giant hall. The last one gave me a bit of trouble as he kept blocking my arrows. There are bodkin points you can attach to your arrows for armor penetration. I even have a pair in my inventory, but my brain, not worth, not made think. I then see the actual perpetrator thrust his sword into the Kanak woman and stab Cax in his chest. He's wearing a red company uniform. As the man sprints for the exit, I knock my arrow and pierce his throat. Turns out the Kanak woman is the Lady of Two Skies, and I realize
the monks have set us up.
I chit-chat with Cax a little bit before he also decides to turn over and die. But one thing is for certain, the red company acted alone. Leaving the palace, I'm hit with a reckoning of my past.
You feel a weight upon your spirit. Damn. God. Shouldn't my guilt be filled up soon?
You can never have too much guilt. Anyway, it's time to put a definite end to these Red Company scum, I say. Their headquarters is somewhere in Termanos. That's where I'll start. I ride hard to lose the remaining guards, but before making it out of the forest, I'm confronted by another tribe of Kaneks. Now, I'm tired and don't want to kill any more innocent people, but they demanded blood, so I took their blood. Stunned by its natural beauty, I find myself on the savannah again. I talk with this grim-looking Tuag trader. She's bitter the Termano guards keep harassing them about a heist a couple of Tuags pulled off not long ago. I offer her my sympathies and bid her adieu. I breathe fresh cacti air and offer an empty promise of help to this farmer who needs to rid whatever is eating up his tall cactuses. I don't know what it is, but I bet you $5 it's lizards. Everything is about lizards. Just outside Termanos, the path is blocked. It's the guards the Tuag trader mentioned. I'm not Tuag and I haven't seen any Tuags. And keeping my spit to myself, they let me pass with the location of the Red Cowboy's favorite tavern. Outside of Termanos, I wondered about the crowd and stumbled upon a familiar face.
Oh, donkey! It's good to see your ugly mule.
Atse was also there.
I'm here for vengeance. Got some men to kill. Oh, Atse, I'm sorry. I'm the same.
Inside the city walls, I find the tavern and decide to do a stakeout. When a large group of inebriated gentlemen in red stumble out from the saloon, I grab one to have a friendly chit-chat with.
Hello, Pita. Is that you? Ah, you're so beautiful.
He's rather rowdy and attract the rest of this Redco gang, so here we go. Overly refreshed, they pose little challenge, and having them disposed grants me an audience with the big Red Company captain.
Bravo!
We exchange pleasantries until I ask for the whereabouts of their headquarters, to which he responds with an obscene gesture.
Why don't you take a tasty bite out of these cojitas, man?
I have no idea what I just said, but he followed it up by introducing me to his very large gun, Carmen.
Oh my god! That's a bazooka!
Carmen wanted to eat, and she ate. She was nice enough to clear out the abundance of bandits though, leaving only me and the Red Captain. It was a matter of waiting until Carmen was all out of ammo. Then I snuck in close to deliver multiple projectiles. Rinse and repeat. That's a fairy, by the way. Catch it to restore HP. I need to catch 10 of those to get an achievement, but I'll let this one go for obvious reasons.
Ah, that was a good dance. Shame I will not be able to watch you dance with El Gallo. I'm dead now. Ugh.
Hoping to get the whereabouts of their headquarters, I score a train schedule. But all is not lost, as it's scribbled with where to deliver the goods. That's got to be it. Patting down the captain, I also find a chunk of wood which reminds me of my father's whittling. Memories of the past wash over me and I fall to my knees. Cursing, I promise the utter annihilation of the Red Company. Parched, I crave a cold one and turn toward a bar. I do some sneaky hiding and then get the barrel of a shotgun shoved in my face. I also bleed on the barkeep's floor, but it's alright, it's not mine. Okay, a little bit is mine, but the barkeep happens to hate the Red Company as much as I do, so he punches me up in the back, sheltering me from the guards. And that's it for Act 2. A familiar face hits my eyeballs.
You're the greatest warrior in the world. Bam, boom. Glory achieved. At least you could be. Oh.
That's too bad. I needed that boost today.
This llama's gonna be named Oog. Come on, Oog. Is that a baby? I'm pooping on you, baby. You gotta poop on the baby.
With that strong intro of Itzai the warrior, I find my uncle and tell him I'm ready to prove myself in the warrior trials. He casts a shadow of doubt and offers an alternative path of farming. After all, it's through war my parents died. But he promises that if I help Jonel, I can join him at the training grounds. Jonel points me in the direction of some ooze that's about to ooze all over the shrine of Omak. We can't have that. So off I go to handle this rolling ooze. I dodged the roller, then I punched again, and even punched a third time. Another one rolled forward, so I punched him a couple of times as well. With the big rolling boys handled, I burnt the nest, and under this rock I find 4 worms.
Boring, boring, boring. I want to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
In the gardens, I pay tribute to these donkeys before speaking to the old gardener Sochi. She needs help drawing water from the nearby river. I humbly offer my services and make off with her bucket. And apparently, I'm filthy from tumbling with the rolling ooze, so I wash myself before collecting the water. I also put the worms to good use and fish. I get algae, a catfish, and a golden trout. I deliver the water to the old woman and get 3 rejuve leaves in return, which is good because my uncle told me to load up on herbs before meeting with him. I tell Yunel of my success with the ooze, and I spark up a conversation with the baby I pooped on earlier. I offer a sparring session, but the baby was in no mood. Pathetic baby. Utterly pathetic. Before meeting up with my uncle, I have one more stop, and that is the village graveyard, where I plundered this necklace. Sorry, conscience. And I tussled with these toads, interrupting the dead's rest. Foul beasts, these toads, and foul jumpers, and quite the exploding bunch overall.
Are you dead yet? 'Cause I am.
I didn't fail a second time, taking their limbs with me. And so I made haste toward the training grounds where my uncle told me, "You're bleeding all over the champions. Heal up."
Don't tell me what to do.
All healed up, I'm ready to go. And I add Make Way, which interrupts, and I'll gain 1 magic point for each enemy I hit, as well as Slice for a sweeping attack. Unfortunately,
I can't even use it. It costs 4 magic and I only have 3.
I do my thinking like I do my bathroom visits. Act first, wipe later. First opponent goes down easy. Nothing can stop me. Uncle tells me to take a short break, but I'm pumped up and ready to go right away. And this time, against an armed opponent.
Oh, he wasn't armed?
Equipped with poison darts, I zigzag and deliver my blow before I'm to be faced with the final test. Uncle wants me to observe the next fight, to learn and to be obedient. But I'm fueled by womanly testosterone-induced rage and jump into the ring and take them all on.
Hey, you actually did damage. That's not cool.
They're quickly subdued.
Say uncle. Uncle!
Smug and full of myself, I reach out and try to help my fellow connects, but they smack my hand away. Whatever, they're just jealous. Uncle was up his own sandals with anger, and the only way to redeem myself was to get him a couple of chilies. He's probably constipated again, so I think nothing of it and head toward the chili tree. But the path is blocked by a giant slug and I need to find another way. However, not without uncovering 3 new worms. I also try to climb and attack the slug without success. When circling around the giant slug, I come across a boulder with something brittle underneath. Removing the boulder, I see a skeleton with gold teeth and jewelry. In bad taste, I plunder his self-made resting place and walk away with low spirits. I squish some bugs and then find an old temple guarded by a puddle patrol. Okay, the frogs were just kinda sitting there and minding their own business, but I can't stand the sight of happy amphibians. I climb the stairs, enter and descend into the D temple, where I'm violently attacked by a threesome of skeletons. I then find this hidden lever. Pulling it, the ground starts to rumble and I hear loud cracks beneath me. Lucky me, it disabled the spike trap and I can continue into this little side pantry where I find bandage, hardtack and a shovel. And just on the other side of this room, I can now clear the rubble with my new shovel. I found this old book, but what really caught my eye were the coins. Golden tooth, the second set piece in the jade jewelry set, and whatever this thing is. On a roll, I go down into the next room where I find another treasure. I can't be stopped, the gods have blessed me with 100% luck. But it's locked, so I try and punch it into submission. Doing so, the door behind me drops and I'm imprisoned. And I'm not alone. The chest is apparently not a chest, but a teethy flesh-eating monster with a very large and slithery tongue. My luck seems to have left me. He jumped high, punched viciously and bit ferociously. I added kick to my arsenal as well as a health point and a magic point. This helped me interrupt his lunging mouth, and more often than not I could stop him from spewing out toxic projectiles. I earned a really cool stick, and after a massive unholy screech that made me want to puke my guts out, I acquire a mysterious medallion piece. And I feel powerful. Just like I did when I got the other piece of the same medallion with Tizo.
Also, open it. There's some gold inside. 10. Ba-ba-bing, bada-bong.
I bada bing through this hole in the wall and I saw light. I can't wait to tell Uncle of my exploits, but let's not forget his chilies before doing so. This tree looks oddly familiar.
You better be demon killing delicious.
And bowel clearing fantastic. Heading back, the giant slug has been kind enough to move, but that doesn't stop the taste buds jumping me, tearing flesh from bone with every lick. I get away with my life barely intact and seek out my uncle, waiting for his laxatives. Eagerly I show him what I found at the temple, but he's rather unimpressed. He blasts me for taking the medallion from that cursed temple and banish me from the village, only to return on one condition. I must seek out a holy place and cleanse this curse.
Bye, Uncle. Bye!
On my own again, I ride hard until my adrenaline subside, fatigue creeps in, and reality hits. Overcome with rage, I let out a bellowing roar and let off some steam punching this chili tree, until resolves finally hardens me. I have no choice but to carry on. I take a quick snooze and feel well rested the next day. I thought I was gonna run into Tiso here, but he never showed up, so time-wise that's probably already happened. In the burned forest, I meet a pack of cheerful Trascos.
Dumb human.
I come in peace, I say, but he still accuses me of stealing sticks. That's their currency, by the way. They deal in branches. To mend our new relationship, I help them dig for rare flam bars. They point, and I dig. After an hour or so, I have a handful and decide to share my find. We split it 50-50, and for my troubles, they give me a useless rock. My eyes then spot a lonely Trasco, sitting apart from the others. My heart cannot bear to see a Trasco sad, so I ask the little man what's wrong. I know how much they treasure sticks from our previous interaction, so I give him my finest stick, or my only one. Overjoyed, he gags and vomits my prize, a mushroom, stink bugs, and a few coins. I also get a cheeky achievement, and on a side note, perhaps the jade stink bug are actual stink bugs and not jewelry. I should probably stop wearing them as accessories. I check this gentleman's wares, but as I mentioned before, they deal in sticks, and I gave my one and only away. I do sell my useless rock though, and I'm now part of the Trasco 1%. Without a clear heading, I knock on this hunter's house. He's got a broken leg, so I share a golden trout with him and offer my help with the marauders who maimed him so.
They stole my donkey too! Now it's personal.
Steal a man's donkey and you're on the naughty list. Before tracking down the marauders, I stop by Shinatsu and offer a fish to this shrine. I gain 1 experience point, so I double down and donate one of my frog legs too.
Appreciates the meat offering. That was it? Never mind.
I talk to a shaman needing herbs and a fish stall missing fish to sell. I put them on the to-do list and make it to the marauders' hidden camp where I lay in ambush. But I have enough time to raid their unsuccessful spoils of war. I only find meat, bandage, and 3 coins. I do, however, find a map with a location marked that says stay away, and it appears to be the hunter's cabin. This is when the marauders come back and see me looting their camp. We hash it out. I kick this guy in the groin before running away from a ghost and stabbing this guy in the back.
Ah! Here we go. Marauders taken care of.
One of them is still breathing, and before I have the time to finish him off, he pleads for his life.
You rob and hurt innocent people. You stole the hunter's donkey. It's right there. The donkey just gets me. That's my mom's donkey.
Turns out the donkey's name is Ak, and the hunter attacked the peaceful marauders when they were out hunting for food.
But why am I blindly following people's orders and just taking whatever they say for facts and truth? I feel bad. I just killed his friends, and all I said was sorry. Sorry. Okay, bye. Actually, let's just check his camper. Do you have anything else of value that I can steal?
I didn't find anything. Damn peasants, do some work. Anyway, I confronted the donkey-stealing marauder-beating hunter, but he just brushed it off with a casual shrug of his shoulders, and then he touched a nerve with me.
Lose your temper?
I wish I could say I put my sandals through his chest first try, but he posed quite the challenge. So I spent a little time in the skill tree adding an extra health and magic point and another ability slot. With that extra magic point I could counter his attacks with interrupts and could just match his movement. From his body I retrieved a 5 stack of coins, a machete and a snare. I expected more from a self-proclaimed hunter though.
Alright, Ugg, where we going?
Ugg and I went back to Shinatsu and checked in on this woman's wares.
There are some items that I'm gonna need. I have 37. I'm gonna get an achievement for having 40, so I'm gonna wait. I can just go back. Greetings.
Unsure on where to head next, I needed worms to help the fishermen acquire some fish. I couldn't find any rocks to flip, which is how I found worms in the past, but I remembered these tiny woodland dwellers had worms to spare. I sold a sango fruit for 5 sticks, which I then used to purchase 5 worms. And while there, I should have bargained for a few more, as having 15 at the same time would grant me the stick achievement. I didn't actually know these were sticks at the time, and I blame this guy for it.
Okay, now I got a couple worms. That's cool. See you later. Tratsko. You're a good lad.
But I was still stuck and was beginning to think I'd soft-locked the game. Going back to the village, the shaman knew of holy ground up north, but it was still off limits.
Just go past this guy. Oh, it's still not possible.
But after finally having talked with this handsome bloke again, I got directions to the city.
Now I can probably walk here. Yeah, baby. River Valley. Okay, just gotta talk to the people.
I was now hindered by a river, and neither Ugg or I swim very well. Fortunately, there was a boatman looking for customers. He offered me a discount if I could find his hat he'd lost on his latest hunting trip. And my big question was, how do you lose a hat? It flies off, you pick it up, come on. I then found this fishing spot close by and threw in my line looking for 3.
Saki! Keep fishing! Cast, reel it in, fish slips away, we fish again with the worm, we reel in, a piranha, I don't want it, come on, let's tug it in and we get sake, we got the 3 fishes! Come on, baby!
I delivered the fish to the fisherman and got the 8 coins we agreed upon, which means I can start spending some of this cash I've been accumulating. I bought a gourd. That's it. So perhaps the stinginess is here to stay. I then went toward the bamboo forest and the boatman's hunting ground, when suddenly marauders assault me from the thick bamboo.
Quick jab in his face. Marauders down. It's a, you're the greatest, you're the best. Victory.
And so I could hunt and look for a fashionable hat. I walked north, and walked north again, where I placed a snare the boatman so kindly provided, but no luck. This time I headed east, then north, where the forest buzzed with vitality, and I managed to trap an agouti. The hat, though, was nowhere to be seen.
Let's go again. We go south, we go north. You're back where you started, of course.
According to the journal, it would be somewhere south of the hunting grounds. So south I went, and took a step toward east. No hat. And having used up all my snares, it wouldn't let me hunt anymore. No matter. I can always go back, I thought, before venturing through a one-way path to find the holy ground. Honestly, I need to start paying attention. This is ridiculous. A marauder said, before assailing me. Unfortunate for them, it ended in the same face in the mud way as for the other group of loincloth-bearing junglemen. Before ascending the holy ground, I came upon a rather odd-looking holy stone, with levitating debris hovering over it. Edging closer, involuntarily, I uttered the words, "Get out," over and over. Against my better judgment, I lean into it, taking 2 damage. I say hell no to that, and after a long climb I reach the promised holy ground. With great trepidation I immerse myself in the water. Colors explode and I'm filled with visions of my future ancestors' suffering. I flounder and try to fight it, but I'm ultimately taken down into my own psyche's depths.
Am I gonna fight the vision? Yes.
And the visions are strong. I fight illuminated wisps as well as skeletons, and whatever this is, I've yet to figure it out. As you can see, they multiply rather quickly, and stupidly I risked everything so close to the finish line. But I am strong.
Your visions can't handle you. You're too good for the visions.
Freed from the awful nightmares of my people's suffering, I emerged stronger and relinquished the medallion piece, gaining 25 experience doing so. Neato. While having this awesome purge, a man sneaks up pointing a rifle in my face. Not so awesome. They shot me, hurled throwing stars in my face and cut me with the razor-sharp knives. I have fists of steel though, so I fight back, and the last one ended up in the holy water himself, baptized. The last of them tried to run, but I've got lust. Bloodlust. They didn't get far.
They've learned their last lesson. Because they're dead. Forever.
Turns out those were the stinky red company men, and if I don't do something, my visions of suffering will come to fruition.
That's crap. I gotta finish the game with high guilt.
But worry not. I'll probably regain some of that guilt killing innocent people hunting down the red company, which I'm now to destroy.
Oh, that aligns with Tizo.
With direction to the city Surcano, I head through this bog where I battle some battletoads, and across the pond I meet a lovely Ayu couple. We bond over our hate for newcomers, and I show their kids some grappling moves. Kinda weird letting a strange giant woman strangle and throw your kids around, not gonna lie. After a shared meal, I reach Surcano, the Ayu village, where I talk to this farmer. He's reluctant to give up any information. That is, until I mention I'm after the Red Company. Now all of a sudden, he'll help me either way, but tasks me to teach some poachers a lesson.
I see. I will slay them. That went really dark quick, I'd say. Come on, you just been to the hand pool, you cleared your visions, and now you want to slay people again? Come on, girl. Put that killing back in the bin.
And the farmer agrees, but he's also got that to each his own mentality, and won't judge if I cut off all of their fingers. Seriously, I can't get a read on him. He pointed me in the direction of the bowslingers. They might have information about the Red Cowboys. I then spotted the most familiar face of Atsi. He was in his usual gossiping ways, purveying information about the bowslingers as well. I get to the riverbank and the poachers are exactly where the farmers said they would be, and I don't need to do much to rile up the boys. I'm basically just walking by with my llama and bullets starts flying. And did I mention shovels? Yeah, shovels started flying as well.
Do I have the time? Oh, you're out of town, baby!
After the fight, I'm happy to loot their corpses for some meat, a couple of snares, animal hides, and a stub of dynamite. I move on to the barley fields, and unfortunately for these bandits, they caught me during my murderous killing spree.
Well, looky what we have here. I know all you got or you die.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows though, as they managed to get me down a couple of times, before opting to change up the strategy.
I ate that shotgun. I can't interrupt him. Oh, I can't interrupt him.
Their many numbers and bullets had me dodging for the most part, but I managed to get them down. I got nuggets of the gold kind for slaying the bandits, and talking about bandits, this farmer had a problem with them as well. They would come during the night to steal his barley, inebriated no less. We can't have that, so I took a well-earned nap before the farmer woke me up to the sound of hooves. I decided to upgrade myself before jumping into the fight with a health point, a new jump attack, and elbow attack. And I got an extra slot and a couple of magic points too. I tried out my new jump attack and it was glorious. Integrated with a punch and a kick combination, it was deemed deadly. They had a great many of soldiers though, and I was pushed into a corner.
Oh my lord!
I got out of that sticky situation with minimal damage, but 2 shovels in the back of your head and you tend to lose a little blood. But utilizing the hide and seek method, I split up their party and I could take them out one by one. I also had trouble navigating this cactus, by the way. I was kind of disappointed when he paid in paellas. They were delicious, don't get me wrong, but I wanted something more shiny. I get to a newcomer village where this priest called me a savage, which I found very rude, and there wasn't much going on in the village overall, so I passed through and met with a bounty hunter. He was flirtatious in give me your money and I'll protect you kind of way. It's probably the other way around, I said. Offense was taken and I siggity and saggity before wiping the floor with him, leaving with his precious coins and whetstone. I also found a new spot to hunt, where I was eventually ambushed by a set of bandits, of course.
Where am I going? I'm going back here. Bowslingers. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this.
Just before reaching the bowslingers camp, I found an encampment riddled with the remains from a fight. Looks to have been wealthy newcomers. I decided to belt out a song for the dead, because who wouldn't appreciate the sweet, mournful notes of a eulogy delivered by a big woman after being torn to shreds? I shed some of that guilt and take a snooze. The next day I wake up to galloping horses and shouting. It's Termano guards, mistaking me for the murderous perpetrators. Can't really blame them, can I?
You are to be hanged. Murder is punishable by death.
I can explain, I said.
Comply or die. I surrender. They grab you and take you to jail. You spend a month in the worst room you've ever seen. You eventually get hanged without a trial. No!
I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but that wasn't it. The dead will have to manage without a bellowing song, and I make it to the bowslingers camp, where it looks to be oddly quiet, and for good reason. Unlike me, they knew to hide when Termano guards come flailing with the noose to hang you. Seeing as I'm no intimidating guard, Izan come out to greet me. I stroke his enormous mustache a bit before asking what he knows about the Red Cowboys and, more recently, El Gallo. El Gallo is the Red Company leader. He's greedy, evil, and smart. Izan happened to know the location of the Red Company, but he'll only divulge that information if I can get him and his men some supplies. So he hands me a list and some coin. I don't have a better alternative right now, so I accept. And Nan here overheard my mad quest and offered his services. For free nonetheless. So I had a list and a supply mission. But this is where the stupid in me comes out. Actually, it's always dripping a little bit, so it was closer to gushing. I'd forgotten that he handed me a list, so when I got to a trader, I didn't know what supplies I needed. And checking the journal didn't help, so I headed back to double check with Izan.
Did you get, what did you need again? We need to get some supplies from the newcomer. I gave you a list. Oh. Can I check the list? List of herbs for the the shaman.
Yeah, this wasn't the first list of supplies that I neglected either. But knowing the supplies, it was a matter of speaking with these 2 traders, and I collected my reward for handling the poachers too. Delivering the goods, he marked my map of their hideout, and off to Fuerte Alcantarilla we went. I say we, as Hernan is still in the party. Easy to forget. Just outside their base, a thug laughs at my inquiries of El Gallo's whereabouts, and we start wrestling. Turns out Hernan is an invaluable teammate to have. Well, not during the first try, as you can see, but learning his skills and movement, and he's able to dish out some serious damage. We finish off the pack and heal up Itze with a leaf and a Kazangal before banging on the door, which triggers quite a few surprised faces. My Inquisition managed to get a reaction from someone missing a tooth. Everybody knows the Teethless are the most gruesome opponents. I challenged the Toothless prick to a duel, an opportunity to spare his men's lives. He didn't really hold their lives in high regard, but he accepted. I could choose my fighter for the duel, but it was hardly a choice. Itze is my champion through and through.
He's got a machine gun. I'll do just a jab. Then I'll do an interrupt. And he's gonna reload, so I'll do that. And I'll do another jab.
I'd perfected my fighting skills now. He barely had time to breathe between my jabs. But a crook is a crook. On the brink of defeat, he called his henchmen to finish the job. Honestly, most ungentlemanlike. Luckily for me, my most valuable asset, Hernan, stormed the court too. And just look at this volley of arrows. It's a work of art is what it is. I stab this crook in the back and the captain re-emerges. Machine gun, hot and heavy. I put Hernan on the captain, kiting and firing off the occasional arrow while Itze concludes the negotiations with the other fellas. I also forgot that I could jump with Itze, so running after them took a few turns. But fret not, for when the captain was low and distracted, I moved in with Itze to deliver a staggering blow while Hernan finished the job.
Hernan, you crazy son of a gaucho. Itze, you crazy son of a big woman. You've taken all of them down, your eyes seek out the commander. I thought El Gallo and his men would be tougher. El Gallo.
Turns out this fella ain't El Gallo. Not that I thought he was, but Itze seemed rather confused. The Red Captain had no love for El Gallo though, and told me to administer some serious suffering should I find him. Too bad he choked on his own blood before he could tell me his whereabouts. But there's no way but forward, wherever that may be. My only information to go on was that El Gallo is a newcomer, and they mostly reside in the newcomer city of Termanos, where I got hanged that one time. Honestly, great place. So me and the absolute legend Hernan mounted up and did a riding montage all the way to a tavern in Termanos with some sweet milonga music blasting in the background. By the bar, I find a familiar character, dressed in a red poncho, whittling away at a piece of wood.
The hell are you doing here?
As I paint him a picture of me holding El Gallo's decapitated head, his lips quirk into a faint smile.
You don't say. As I caress my own mustache, which I don't have. I mean Tizo, of course. We're in the mighty desert. Really, bro? You sure they followed us this far? Says Chio. Afur. For the millionth time, yes, they want their goods back. I don't see why we have to hide here like, shh.
Afur gently shushed Chio to prepare for an ambush.
Oh, that's nice. Now we're gonna have multiple characters. That's fun.
Afur is trained in the ways of the Arco just like Tizo, and Chio looks to be comfortable with close combat, stabbing her victims. I emerge on a sweet pixelated back of a camel. It seems the guards are after some goods packing heat we've acquired. The sooner we can offload these goods, the sooner we can ride off into the sunset. I make it to Asia where I buy water rations because the desert looks scorching, and lucky us, we find a gentleman to offload these goods to. That was quick, game over. In return for the goods, we get dust funds, which looks to be just another piece of the puzzle and will be used in the dust transfer. Game back on. I have no idea what a dust transfer is, but the whole point of this amount of high-level scheming is to fund Afur's and Chio's new shine business, which I'm also not sure what it is. Moonshining?
I don't know.
Before heading towards our main objective, I can't help myself but to talk with some villagers, specifically this little kid with an attitude towards Chio. The kid's ball had gone AWOL, which I promised to return. I realize I'm two people in this story now, but referring to myself as Afur or Chio seems weird, so I'm going to fuse the two into I. There was also a rotten meat problem down by the oasis, polluting the village drinking water, so I gave a thumbs up to this huntress and headed to the interim field of baby worms.
A field of bones is spread before you. I can see that. Be careful. How big could they be? What are we talking about here? They don't need to be big to be dangerous.
Exactly, but he's talking about sandworms.
Loose sands ahead. Look out for worms. Do not camp. My Arrakis. My Dune.
I followed the sign to the letter, but was viciously assaulted by a pack of worms anyhow.
The worm's got a gun! He's got a gun!
They burrowed, dug, and fired their worm weapons at me like worms do, and I shot and stabbed like I do. With Shaialud and his buddies in the ground again, I got to the oasis where I set up camp for a stakeout. Chiyu was a little impatient, but rather quickly a group of bandits show up. I stretched my neck, pried my ears, and discovered they were the ones poisoning the village for their own gain. How shocking. I showed my displeasure of this by assailing them. If I could rank their skills in combat compared to the worms, I'd hold the worms in high regard. But the good thing about bandits is the loot, which was coins, water, and a golden tooth. Burying the bodies, I scanned the immediate area and find prickly pears, wraith caps, and poisonous vigothorn before heading back with the good news. With the reward of 10 coins, I buy rope, a shovel, a band-aid, and set out toward making the dust transfer. On the road I find more prickly pears and a great spot for scavenging. I sacrifice a little of my water rations to dig and uncover a useless rock and some tasty desert truffles. But I keep digging.
Looks very promising. Let's dig here. You found a toaster! What?
Magic, camels, and toasters. About sums this game up. I continued the long and arduous journey to the drop-off point for the dust transfer.
Are we there yet?
Not yet.
On the way, I try to take shelter in a cave where I'm violently assailed by lizards. I've almost missed the slithering bastards.
What the fuck is that? Ah! Children! Mouse spirit. That was quick. Oof.
Seems we're haunted by mice ghosts in the desert.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
Almost. What's up with that guy? Stay wary. He looks delirious.
About to greet the desert fever-inflicted man, I stop and find this kid's half-inflated ball stuck between the rocks, kind of far off from the village, so either the kid's a bit naughty or someone's got a cannon for a leg. Talking to the disoriented man, he's lost his horse and need help to the nearest village, offering a reward for help.
Suma joins your party. Cool. First, though, we're gonna go back and give the kid his ball.
I made the mistake in the past by not going back until it's too late, and I really want the kid to have his ball, and I, the achievement of finding his ball. Our journey, though, is abruptly interrupted by bandits, and they seem to be looking for Suma.
I'm kind of on the villain path here, so Suma, I don't want any trouble. Chio is hurt. Sorry, dude. You lied to us. You didn't give us the full story. Morning glory. Bye-bye. No!
I hand him over for the staggering amount of 10 coins, and my conscience make an appearance.
I'm so bad. Well, we got the kid's ball. Chio, that's always nice.
Satisfyingly, I drop off the kid's ball and get an achievement as well as
a stick.
my stick. Jealous, Chio makes a sly remark of where I can put it. Up my ass, I head back to try and make it to the drop-off point.
Ooh, treasure. This cactus tree is known for its corrosive sap. Gather sap. You get burned trying. -1. Chio passed away. Afer, don't send in your sister when she's low on HP. Come on, man. Be a man.
I figure I should heal up on our travels from now on when I notice the useless rock, which reminds me that killing an enemy with a rock will yield an achievement. So I look up some more relating to combat.
And I need to poison 10 enemies, kill all the bugs in the Tettle mine, slaughter the lamb. I missed that one. Kill an enemy that was poisoned and stunned. Kill 3 enemies with 1 arrow. Yeah, like that's gonna be possible.
Ah! Are we there yet?
Yes! Yes, we're here. Finally. There's no one here.
But there is.
It's an ambush.
But I was off to a great start with a forced position swap, which also stuns the enemy, and Shio could roll out the way with her dodge ability. Everything was going smoothly, until nature intervened.
I think I need to move that way, actually. Didn't I move? I didn't move over, did I? I moved past it.
I kept my distance from the lurking flowers after that, and I have to say I really enjoyed having 2 characters instead of 1. It made the fighting even more interesting. The rest of the bandits make off with our dust funds, and I toss the blame at our apparent contact for the transfer, Abru, the Charlie woman. She raises a good point though. All our friends is now bones, and the thieves went off with their dust as well as our funds.
Get us the dust. It's what you owe us. You insult me, you lose only money, my crew sheds their meat. For all that is known, it is you who tricked me! Okay, fair point, let's track them together.
So Abru joined, and we were now a party of 3. She also gifted us with flash pods and a couple of acid bombs. Following the thieves east, Abru tells us of an old hermit supplying them with dust. He might know more of the bandits. I find a flask, which is the process of gathering sap, and I stop to talk with an Io traveler. I ask if they've seen any dust thieves roaming around, but they have their own problems to deal with, like having one of their members captured by bandits. I interrupt Chio spilling the beans, make it past a valley of quicksand, and travel to the city of Mutakar, where I take a look at the produce and try to befriend a cat.
Ya-on. The cat stares at you in confusion. Okay, mish. The cat ignores you and cleans its whiskers. Kiki. The cat bats the air in annoyance.
Nothing pleased the feline, but let's be honest. Cats are egotistical and manipulative creatures playing us all for fools, waiting to strike. I talked to Miss Potter, not to be confused with the wizard, as all she made were regular pots, which she forced me to buy if I wanted information on the dust thieves, which I did. Some newcomers had just traveled through the village toward Rocky Outcrop, where hungry crabs reside. Be wary of the hungry crabs, she says, before I hand her back the pot I just bought.
How rude.
Before leaving, I fill up our water skins and head toward worm territory. But the dry sand and heat is rather uninviting, so I turn around and follow the new lead instead. And just when I thought I was the victim of another ambush, I think we're up to around 300 of those so far, it's the rest of Abru's wounded clan. They've been tracking the bandits back to their camp. I part ways with Abru and she gifts us a feather. A humble gift should Charlie's come on knocking. At least that's what she says. I mean, it's a feather. Curious, I peek inside this cave, which I probably shouldn't have done as there were now 6 hungry crabs longing for my flesh. Though slow, they were rather tanky and swarmed me. So it was time to spend some of that experience I've hogged way too long. I got lob shot level 2, but was oogling the AoE lob shot, which, as well as damaging enemies, also stunned them. I also got the shatter orb and a health point for a fool. For Chiyu, I acquired a slice and spin attack combined with a health and magic point. But the hefty crabs turned out too much for me, so I bailed. Intrigued by the mysterious toaster, I use it and almost lose an eye to its toast-like projectile.
Get annoyed about the toaster. Great, that's an achievement down.
Worn from my travels and with salty breadcrumbs in my eye, I fill up our rations and reel in a clam before setting up camp for some much-needed rest. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm a fool. I can so relate to a fool. So when I say I mean me. But also a fool. We're one now. Enjoying the campfire, a man in a red poncho nods as he goes to the oasis for water. I'm not sure why I invited him over. He's had a habit of killing everyone he comes across, at least when I'm in the driver's seat. Chiyu, being her chatty self, inquisits Tiso until I finally tell Chiyu to give it a rest. I know Tiso. He keeps it close to his chest anyway. As I wake the next morning, Tiso is nowhere to be seen. But right next to the oasis I find the bandits who stole our funds, and this time, I do the ambushing. Their camp is filled with TNT and they're stupid enough to set it off trying to hit me. I try to utilize the cover and use my lob shot, but they heave dynamite my way, so I have to do some evading maneuvers. I'd also equipped an acid bomb, which these 3 gentlemen gladly took to their face, and this poor sod become a guinea pig for my useless rock.
Not so useless now, are you, Rock? Kill an enemy with a rock. Nice. That was surprisingly easy.
To my avail, there's no sign of our money, or any dust, but there's a bandit still alive, coughing blood. He's a little hard to persuade, so I push on his wound until he passes out. What's with everybody dying or passing out while I torture them? For heaven's sake. But I ransack the camp and find a nice coat with some gold, alongside a map. Looks to be the location of the hermit Abru was talking about. Old man Afur needs his rest before we head into the Red Desert, where a bird-like figure makes itself known. It notices my most esteemed feather, which I gladly offer up for my life. I mean, it's a feather. There are many raiders nearby, so the Charlie warrior escorts us to their village. They seemed rather happy to get rid of us after Chiyu's many tiring questions, but they gift her with a rifle, which will turn out to be an amazing asset. When I finally remember to equip it, that is. Desert, dangerous. Need items? Yes? Those are the words of a true hustler, and I couldn't resist buying some supplies from the man. I also asked how dangerous the desert is, in which he replied, ghosts. Ghosts leave the dead with smiles, and they smell like moldy tubers. Kind of like parsnips. So I'll be on the lookout for vegetables, and I'll most likely run the other way should I find them. Generously, there was now 3 different roads to take. I chose to embark towards Kregan, where the Tettle mine resides. I meet with the manager, who offers me a great deal on Tettle, which I can upsell at the chemical plant. I put a pin in that and talk with the mine workers, arguing about who should go down into the mines and kill the insects currently terrorizing them. Chiyu, out of nowhere, offers up our services, and I reluctantly agree to her shenanigans.
Oh, thank you. We're rewarding you when you return. If you're not bones.
They suggest I get a few antidotes from the manager, as I'll most likely get poisoned. Strapped for cash though, I check my inventory and to my surprise, Wraith Cap cures poison. So I make it into the mines and fight off the first fireflies and acid grubbers. Deeper inside I find an acid egg, and digging through these shattered bones I find a ring. Though I cut myself and lose 1 HP.
Chiyu passed away. God damn it, Chiyu!
Well inside the mines again, I heal Chiyu and grab that ring. Successfully, I might add. I grab a few more eggs before Chiyu pushes me down a garbage chute, swarming with insects. I upgrade a fool with a regular shoot arrow skill, plus an ability slot, and threw in a magic and health point as well. Chiyu got the same stats, but I added a kick for stuns and a mighty slice attack. I then get to gaze upon our enemy, the acidic insect queen. She doesn't have the most health points, but she's quick on her feet and summons little acid helpers. There's also some sort of floating orb thing that drains my health in its proximity. Top it all off with explosions from the dying grubbers, and you have yourself a fight. So I overhauled my recent experience bonanza and got an explosive lob shot that interrupts with 3 damage. Only downside is it takes 2 turns for it to land. And I found Chiyu's new rifle skill. It might take ages to reload, but it does a whooping 4 damage on impact. Combined with a force lob shot, and I get her down to 50% with the first couple of attacks. I even finish her off before the final wave of grubs appear, but I mistakenly get in too close and personal with Chiyu.
Oh, hell no. It's not gonna be enough. Can I still do this? Like...
Maybe, if I would have cured the poison. 3rd time's the charm, as they say. I kill her within a minute. Use Chiyu as bait in the middle, and the Grubers are but a spot on the ground.
I hate you. I do.
But I don't hate 20 gold coins, which I choose over 2 tettle, which I then use to buy 2 tettle. Way to add a couple of extra steps for the same result. I head to the stud farm next, where this gentleman angrily puffs on his pipe complaining about goat-stealing raiders. He offers to replace my inferior camel with a much superior Nako, should I retrieve his goats. I could head toward the hermit now, but as that is a point of no return, I make a quick stop at the chemical plant where I sell off my tettle for an extra 2 gold apiece. Very juicy. Running across this red desert, I stop and check out these rustling bushes, which was a mistake.
You've fallen for their good old bush ambush.
Yes, another ambush. At least they evolve as we go. But these weren't your usual bend over and die raiders. These were Charlie Gunner raiders. They had an annoyingly good dodge roll, evading my every lob and stab with an incredibly small window of opportunity. They were more time consuming than hard though. I also fight some raider guards. Their weapons were big, but they had little to no evasive skills, so they weren't much of a problem. Inside the raider's base, there was more conflict to be had, and Chio took a hit and died. Unsure if I should continue or not, I finish off the fight with a four and could heal up Chio with some prickly pears after the fight. I then find the first goat locked behind bars, but I need a key to set it free, which I assume one of the remaining raiders have on his person.
We'll get you out, buddy. We'll get you out. Huzzah! Thieves! Kill the goat thieves! You're the goat thieves. Oh, kill the goat rescue party.
That Uno reverse card is strong. I slaughter the remaining raiders in a glorious massacre and then find the key alongside another goat and coins. I unlock the gate, fetch that second goat and head upstairs where I find the third and final goat. I do a goat victory dance and then head back with the good news to claim my new Nako mounts.
We're so fast. It's like they got nos up their asses. Family, 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 family.
With all 3 paths explored, I had but one way forward now, to the rim, where I find this fruit with a heart so succulent I can't but slice up both my hands trying to retrieve it. Alongside this narrow passage, I notice a cave opening. Using rope, I climb down and hear faint singing coming from the entrance. Chio is afraid it might be a ghost, so I suggest she kill it like everything else she comes across. It's a woman named Elspeth that sneakily pops her head out, inviting us in for tea. A most welcome invite for 2 parched travelers, if I might say so. But Chio's nostril starts vibrating, which means danger. The smell of mold is also evident.
It's a ghost.
On our way out, she forces the tea into our hands. Chio knocks the tea to the ground as Elspeth suddenly dies with a macabre grin on her face. That's a ghost mystery solved. I don't leave without of course looting the body first, gaining what looks to be her tea ingredients. Climbing back up, we finally find the hermit's hut, surrounded by hangry crabs. This time I'm a lot better equipped to take on these tanks. I even managed to get away without losing a single health point. I knock on the hermit's door and I'm met with a flash and a bang, knocking me down to critical health. Upon waking with our lives intact, thank God, the hermit towers over me. He had mistaken us for the Red Company newcomers coming for his precious dust, which he doesn't have. He offers a bad smelling potion for our aching bodies and it goes down smooth, ailing our ailments. I try to pry for the Red Company's location, but the old hermit wants a head in return for information. That of a Hradak. Hradak. Don't ask me what it is, but apparently it's been sucking all his goats dry. Awful, awful description. The Hradak cave entrance is just south of his hut, and I engage by hurling in an acid bomb. Look at me. I'm the ambusher now. With 35 HP, the Hradak, aka Chupacabra, looks to be a formidable opponent. With mighty licks of tongue, daring leaps, and fierce claws, he turns out to be not a problem.
Am I the most hardcore-ish gamer you've ever seen? Probably not. Continue. No way, chupacabras aren't real. We just killed one, bro.
So I cut its head off and delivered it to the hermit. He was surprised I was still alive, but kept his word and marked our map with the dust refinery, where the Red Company resides. Over this salt quarry, I unloaded my dissatisfaction over how long this wild goose chase had been. My mood didn't somehow magically increase when this newcomer had the audacity to call me a savage either. To let it go, I did a breathing exercise. I reluctantly bought a couple of bandages from the rude fella, but it beats bleeding to death for sure.
Psst, over here. You look savvy and we could really use some help. What kind of help? They work us like crazy and don't even provide us with the proper tools. We'll keep an eye out.
Were I to find any tools, he was adamant to bring them to him first, or the overseer would just sell them and pocket the money for his own gain. The salty desert stretched for miles, leaving myself and Chio parched. We find an old shipwreck stranded, so there's probably been an old sea here before, but all I could think of was the shipwreck up at Black Rock from the show Lost. A four, meaning I, was about to break. All this fighting and the exhausting pursuit after the thieves has taken its toll. He had grown rather superstitious as well.
Hey, you can't give up on me now. Think of the senoritas. What's done is done. We gotta look forward. We can still do this. Yeah, okay. We better get going.
Intrigued by the ship, I took a look inside its storage, which apparently had stocked shelves of skeletons. Channeling Afur's rage and keeping out of the ghost's range, I could also explore the top deck, where I find my new spirit animal, namely hobs. I don't know what they actually are, but apparently they sometimes nibble on us humans, so I offered them a fish for free passage and skedaddled away as fast as I possibly could. On my way northeast, I found an abandoned mine I find worthy of checking out, because why not? And it looks to be filled with the menacing hob creature I just ran away from.
No, humans, no. Out you go.
I respectfully decline his request. The possibility for goodies down here is too great, and they might be small and feeble with an adorable javelin fling, but their strength is in their numbers. You'll see soon enough.
Bad humans. I feel bad now killing them. They're so adorable.
I found a set of tools in this rumble of rocks, and then delved deeper into the mine.
This is where this is gonna come in hand, I guess. But Jesus.
Hobs are out of Jesus' jurisdiction, so he's as helpless as I am, I'm afraid. My explosive arrow cleared up quite a few, and my teleport kept them guessing. Chio was, however, exposed.
There's more coming? No. I mean, can we do this? I think we could do this somehow. Maybe I need to buy like a teleport for her, probably. Okay, let's check the inventory. First off, you need a band-aid. So let's equip that.
The teleport and invisibility skill was also acquired to ease her potential suffering.
Why am I not using that more? Because I'm stupid.
That would be the Shatter Orb. Upon destruction, it explodes, dealing 2 × 16 in damage. Quite handy in overcrowded situations like these. It wasn't without its challenge, but with an extra AoE and teleport, we managed to stay alive.
And I think we're done. What a bloodbath. Hobs everywhere. Whoa, we're stinky humans, Chio and Afur. We're stinky humans. Wow, we just killed a lot of hobs. You feel a weight upon your spirit. Feels good, man. Let's look for loot, you little psychopath. Genocide. Kill the hobcore population. No, it's an achievement. Oh.
And it looked to be more killing on the schedule. But first I uncovered more tools and this secret railway path where at the end of it I found some goodies. I then headed back up to vanquish the last of the hob population.
No more fret. What have I done?
I am a terrible human. I got what was coming to me though by jumping down into this shaft, breaking both my legs. Reloading, I instead went back up and figured I could deliver one set of tools to the worker and one to the foreman. After all, I had 2. But the greedy worker took them both. Did I just annihilate an entire species of mine hobs for 5 experience? I did, and I'd probably do it again. Perhaps those 5 experience points would be exactly what I need, because things were about to get hot in this dust refinery full of Red Company bad boys. El Gallo seemed to be on their ill-willed minds, and while this fella turned his back, I sliced his throat. There was a stash just nearby, and praise be, our dust funds had made their return. There was also a buckload of dynamite, so wave goodbye to your refinery, boys. My explosive party was, however, cut short, but this was an easy fight to be honest.
Psych!
With all my evasive movement and stunning capabilities, they couldn't do much more than accept their fate. And being tired of it all, I suggested we take the money and count our losses. Chio, on the other hand, had another suggestion. Blow everything to smithereens and go after El Gallo. He's probably got a treasure cove filled with dust. Lead the way, Chio. I totally trust you. I looted whatever I could find before going out to set the dynamite. Stepping through the door, I get whacked in the head, and while Afur takes care of the bandage to my right, more sneak up on aching Chio. It was a grenade launcher maniac at the wheel, so I had best keep moving. After 2 rounds he had to reload. I focused on getting the gunman down first so I could solely focus on the captain. But more men spawned, of course, so it was a rather hectic fight. I basically made good use of my rifle skill every 5th round, until there were 10 conquered corpses. My high of victory was short-lived.
See you in hell, suckers. Muhaha. Did you see that last move, bro? Half of his head has been blown off.
Afur was no more, leaving me with an uncontrollable rage and a whole lot of victims. This was one of those events where the rage fuels your strength, giving you endless magic. At one point I thought the enemies wouldn't stop spawning in, but after having decimated 20 of the Red Co boys, I could turn my attention to my poor brother. Hit with a massive amount of guilt, I light the dynamite and blow up the refinery to the sky. And just look at that glorious nuclear light. Actually, don't. Look away. Okay, you can look again. With that, I swear to take down El Gallo and do another musical riding montage. You can probably guess where I'm going to end up and who I'm going to run into. But first, a toast to my dearest Afur. Dude, you were the best dust brother a gal could have.
He picks up the bottle and takes a chug. This barkeep is a legend. He's a legend. Love him.
That legend would then introduce me to someone we're all familiar with, Tiso, which is the end of Act 4, 2 halves, and the beginning of the end, Act 5, Oil and Blood. Itzai, Chiyo, and Tiso are gathered around the big table of planning. Uneducated guess suggests that the Redco headquarters is somewhere near the oil sands, judging by the train's cargo we're looking to board. We've all amassed quite the reputation leading up to this point, so we can't just board the train as ourselves, but a few well thought out disguises will most likely do. Prep your gear and rest up, for tomorrow's a big day. I, Tiso, the leader of this group, says. Curious if I kept my gear, I checked my inventory to see that it's quite empty, except a few bandages, a piece of wood, but a juicy 100 coins. My skill tree looks to be intact though. I check on the troops individually while offering a few wise and selective words. Expressing my gratitude to Mr. Legend, I slam down another glass of mezcal and happen to chit-chat with a most peculiar character.
Time to rebrand. Pixel art is dead. Need to start whittling some. Is that the designer for this game?
There happened to be an achievement where you need to talk to all developer characters in the game. Supposedly, this is one of them. And spoiler alert, it's going to give me a massive headache down the line. I greeted Donkey Man, whom had finished selling my wares, rendering me a rich man. I ended up using the funds to further finance my war efforts, and I bought bandages, dynamites, and some other goodies.
1 arrow killed 3 enemies. That's how we do it. Some acid bombs, some hardtacks, some more bandages, health potion, magic liquid. Let's do it.
Before going to bed, I chit-chatted with Atsi for a while, but quickly fell into my own reminiscent dreams of old. Whittling on a piece of wood, I remember Grandpa telling stories by the campfire while Father himself whittled away. In the morning, I stretched my stiff back, gathered the party members while the bartender sees us off, rooting for a glorious murderous killing spree of Redco scum. A quick recap of the plan, especially for the benefit of Itzai, who'd rather punch and rip people in half, and we're off to the train station. I managed to steal handcuffs from a captain guarding his prisoners, and nick this piece of cloth hanging from a drying rack, suitable for a disguise. A victory lap was in order, which propelled me to talk to this Tuag trader. He had a couple of good options, but I let him be for now to look for other opportunities. This beggar kid ignored me, piece of shit, and I better keep a low profile, as Tiso and Chiyo is plastered all over the walls.
How come I'm not up there? You ought to leave some survivors next time. Take the posters down. Oh, you've been discovered. No.
A pack of guards stops us in our tracks. Quick on my feet, I say we're just out for a midday stroll. And the stupid idiot let us go. What a wheelbarrow. I scout a dark alley perfect for a setup, and then figure we might as well get the train tickets, just in case. This gives me a hidden achievement as well. Coughing up 5 coins, the beggar kid agreed to lure the guards away so I could take them down.
Nice mustache. Looks like you've been licking the boss ass again. Oh my god, the kid's got an attitude.
Things got a little messy, leaving only one uniform clean enough to use. I slid it down to Tiso, who clearly looked uncomfortable. Itzai thought I looked rather fashionable though.
He does look great though. Oh my god, these are my these are my prisoners. Use the damn handcuffs. Can I use the handcuffs?
A bit rusty, but well suited to play a prisoner. A part which Itzai would be perfect for. With only Chiyo left to disguise, I nicked the Tuag's trade papers, did a victory lap, and dressed Chiyo for the role. Finally aboard the train's cargo hold, I whittle away on my piece of wood again, until Chiyo complains about blowing our cover, and just as well as a couple of Redco boys makes an appearance. There's not much to their idle small talk until they ask that which should not be asked, which I try to deflect.
Private business.
They press on a little too much. Flustered, I mentioned we're going to the oil sands. So much for a quiet and peaceful train ride. Cramped for space, I still dodge their bullets and remain unscathed. The thugs mentioned they're not stopping at our destination, so I have to make it to the front and stop the train. I drop the disguises and head into the next carriage where more boogeymen waited to be dismantled.
Package for Sweden. Ett paket till Sverige.
Then a damsel in distress tried to make my life difficult by calling the guards, and when she blocked my way I asked Itzai to nudge her a little bit, which ended in her knocking the woman out with a glorious single-handed smack.
The hell, Itzai? What? She challenged us!
The next carriage was the tender, where these firemen shoveled coal. I made my need for speaking with the engineer known, but was met with difficulties. Sending a few coins their way was apparently also out of the question.
Shovel guys got super much HP. Why?
They had become buff from shoveling all that coal. With many interrupts, I conquered the shovel heads, and the Red Company shotgun man didn't have a whole lot to say either. Tugging at the door, it's locked. So I head all the way back of the train where I find some rather combustible material.
You light the dynamite and run. Oh shit. Oh mama.
I wake up, ears ringing, and I seem to have taken a good beating too. Chiyo was nowhere to be found, but Itse, fueled by adrenaline, let out a triumphant declaration of immortality. But before we could find Chiyo, the Red Company bandits interrupted our search. For some reason I forgot to mend my critical health, and it's not like I didn't have any bandages to spare.
I could just wait and then interrupt both.
So I was lucky I didn't take a hit during all of this. Afraid that we'd already lost a member of our party, I wanted to push on. I couldn't risk at losing the opportunity at finding El Gallo. One last carriage sweep though, and Chiyo was reinstated. She'd had her own confrontations with the Red Company, waiting for us to appear. So with the full party again we set out, only for us to be violently assailed again. There's going to be a lot of that going forward, so buckle up. This time I had the foresight of tending to our wounds before jumping into the fight.
Use 100 items. Boom. Achievement done.
I also ate a tasty pastry, taking me to a place I'd not been for a while. After that delicious cookie, I delivered a world of hurt before I could make headway toward the Red Company headquarters, and I was etching ever closer. In the deep fog, I suddenly hear someone whisper my name.
A burst of brightness nearly blinds you. When your vision recovers, you're asphyxiated by the surreal scene before you, glazed by warm morning sunlight. Mom, Teko. You're finally up. Breakfast is almost ready. Your family prepares breakfast on the campfire. Your hands tremble. I don't use that name anymore. No way! We're Teko! We're Teko! From the beginning! Oh my god!
Yeah, I was really slow realizing this massive twist. There's been subtle hints throughout the game, so call me stupid if you'd like. What was first a very sweet moment between Ghost Dad and me suddenly turns dark as I see flames erupt, burning my entire family. Also, Dad wanted me to burn with them, which I thought was very unnecessary.
Okay, Dad, that's uncalled for, that's dark.
And so I battled the skeletons of my dead family. At least that's what it looked like to me. Equipped with heavy artillery, they tried to gun me down. They had me outnumbered 5-1, so I was kind of surprised I made it out alive. First try, no less.
My ghost of distant past is dead.
Itse distributed what I hope was smelling salt, and I shot back into consciousness. I told a little white lie about not remember anything, and we were off again. As we journeyed along the oil trail, Itse poured her heart out to deaf ears. Tiso was entirely consumed by his whittling and was not fit for a show and tell until it was ready. Actually, it was already complete, but Tiso is a shy little man. After a couple of more confrontations with the Red Company, where I thought I had saved a couple of prisoners, and another fight that nearly took me an hour to complete, not just because of incompetence, but also because I wanted to get the achievement where you kill 3 enemies with 1 arrow.
Is that gonna hit them all? I don't have it equipped. Oh, this has all just been bullshit. Restart. Damn. Equip them all.
So maybe a lot of incompetence actually. But I put that piercing arrow on hold for now and finally got to witness the gates of the Red Company headquarters, which I immediately blew up by the way, ushering in a statewide panic. As I ventured forth, setting ablaze the entire lot, I finally laid my eyes on the elusive El Gallo. To my surprise, this supposedly menacing outlaw was not so menacing, but rather short and rather pink from an outburst of rage and fear. Blood-hungry, Itse jumped into the fight as El Gallo cowered in his tower overlooking the battle while his henchmen had to enjoy taking my punches. This exploding cart also rolled in on the tracks, which I thought would be best to dispose of as soon as possible.
Oh, El Gallo's machine. I'm going to enjoy crushing you like the worthless ticks you are.
Phase 2 arrived scary quick, and El Gallo's tower were suddenly a giant Gatling gun-wielding machine, and he rained down big piles of dirt on our poor noggins. The cart seemed to be delivering something, so I focused on shutting them down, as well as targeting these barrels. It was a ranged man's game, so Itse and Chiyo obviously took a hit, but with the machine gun and whatever the spinning thing is down, I could focus on the last 2 barrels closest to El Gallo.
The hell is that? Oh, glad something blew up. Not sure what it was. Oh, I got tanks up here. I didn't see them. I'll take some damage. They're not gonna reach me, I don't think. They're gonna reach me, I think. This might be it. This might be it. El Gallo's machine is broken. El Gallo falls out of the wreckage of the machine and doesn't even try to fight. He turns tail and runs. Coward! I'm going after him. Cover my back.
In the most cinematic and Hollywood-esque scene, El Gallo leads Tiso on a manhunt through what seems to be a familiar setting.
Oh, the big tree. The big tree. We're back at the big tree.
I was thinking he would imply that he had some information about what happened that fateful night so many years ago, but he just straight up shot me, bringing me down to my knees.
Well, damn. I didn't come all this way just to die before visiting you again.
He fires off a couple more bullets that whistle past me before he heads for the tree roots.
Oh! El Gallo bolts again.
Climbing the tree in panic, El Gallo slips and scrambles for purchase, and we have ourselves another good old-fashioned Mexican standoff. It was time for him to pay.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
I teleported in close and swiftly fired off an arrow of retribution.
Motherfucker! Piece of shit! Exhausted, you look down at El Gallo's bloodied face. That's a face? It doesn't even look like a face anymore, just flesh and bone. His skull could be anyone's skull. Could be yours.
Bleeding out, I lean against the tree and offer up my gift to the sacred tree.
May this for you. Oh, a whittled owl. Just gonna rest for a moment. Leaning against the sacred tree, you finally feel some peace.
I check out some awesome Arco credits and then witness Chio and Itse come to my aid, though it's already too late. Unsure where to bury Tiso, they find a yarrow-clad hill, which made me think of Roberto, the sick llama. Chio then took the dust and seeded our trade empire, while Itse only took enough to pay a bard to sing about her glorious exploits. Tits out. And after all these years, the sacred tree got her offering, springing new life and possibly a new sacred tree.
Complete Act 5. Finish the game with low guilt. Not guilty? How's...
Rather confused after my rambunctious playthrough, where I felt overwhelmingly evil most of the time, especially with Itse, I would now have to finish the game with high guilt. For real this time, none of this playing it evil, we've got to embody Satan. And my progress was only at 51% after the first playthrough, so I had a lot left to accomplish. But this time around, I'll only include the optional paths throughout the run, otherwise there would be a lot of repetitiveness. With the only achievement of Act 1 already obtained, getting yelled at by the donkey, I jumped straight into Act 2.
Everyone is slaughtered.
With a great start to my evil ways, or guilty ways, whichever way you like to put it, I took in the devastation. Instead of then patting the lamb on its head, scaring it away, I took my butcher knife and divided the meat to the party members. Being that there are 2 achievements for the same lamb, I saved, pre-slaughter, and loaded back into the game. I then find these tasty looking blueberries which I use to gain the lamb's trust.
Lamb joins your party.
I got a soft spot for helpless creatures, so I of course stopped by Atsi to get my buddy a new friend before dropping him off at the shepherd village. I didn't know Shoy. Yup, that's his name apparently. Shoy. But he touched my heart in ways it's never been touched.
Got something in my eye. Lamb. Potted ways.
Next I head toward the bandits camp to find a secret pathway, which is part of the wall hugger achievement. In my own opinion I did a pretty good job scanning all the areas, but I managed to miss this one. And this was a big one. Seriously, look at all this stuff. There are a few extra smaller things you can do to increase your guilt, mostly in Act 3 and 4, but I believe the big thing is to discover and complete the medallion quest, and finding all obelisks. For Tiso though, a simple wave can set you off on the wrong path. Which is the correct path, the good path, the best path. I get to the mountain temple where I misjudged this jump before uncovering this hidden stash. Not sure this counts toward the achievement though. I kill the moon moth for the medallion piece and some fat guilt, and then head to the Kanak forest where I kill these annoying toads guarding an old stone path. I push through overgrown thorn bushes and find myself at an abandoned house, inhabited by bugs. So is it really abandoned? Debatable. But the interesting part is not the bugs I squash, but the dark knife I'll pull out from under the floorboards, giving me serious Constantine vibes.
Huh. You're about to leave when something grabs your leg. You fly across the meadow without seeing what threw you.
Thank you, you freed me. I propose a deal.
Something that can spare my throat, please.
It's more of a I'll give you power and you'll give me that Constantine dagger you just snatched from that old house there.
Deal or nah? Nah or deal? Deal or no nah? Nah or no deal? Deal.
Lead the way, I say, even though Sweater Skull here is clearly in the back of the caravan. But he points, he directs, he even helps fighting this giant beetle, summoning little grubs that did absolutely nothing. Sweater Skull and I continue through a deep swamp that's probably a call out to the dead marshes in Lord of the Rings. There's even dead bodies in the bog.
Who were they?
No one anyone would remember. They battled long before this force grew here. Okay, keep going, let's go.
We get to an ancient obelisk, and it's as easy as placing my hand on the obelisk and gain its power, after fighting the rising dead.
He did. He did.
With the fighting done, Sotsal leaves me to it, and as I lay my hand on the stone, I get sucked into another battle of wrangly gunslingers, and a lot of ghosts. A lot of ghosts. Though I only have to kill the skeletons and the tiny wisps. And I feel powerful.
Thank you.
Unlock 1 obelisk. 1 out of 3. Okay.
This is when I meet up with Death herself and gift her Tiso's half of the medallion. And obviously snag a few shillies. The herbalist asks for his Beetlejuice again, which now is an easy retrieval mission due to the Sotsal situation from before. This time I put on my non-judgmental spectacles and let him do his thing. He's surprisingly apologetic about the whole thing.
It's just been so long. I've been fiending, you know? Just pay up. What do you do in your own damn time? It's your own damn business. Oh, of course. I'm very grateful. Here's your reward. No judgment. Let the junkie do his thing. Hey, another achievement.
For Tiso, there's only one more thing to do now before moving on to Itse. And it's first going to pay off in Act 5, which is kinda nuts. Instead of doing the monk's dirty work, I demand an audience with Lady Two Skies, face to face. I'm firm with my intentions. I asked the questions, lady, and I gave this guy the finger, totally establishing my dominance. I might have just peed all over the floor, to be honest. They have their traditions though, so I have to beat Cax the Kanak in a duel before the lady will grant my audience, which is easy enough, a couple of arrows here and there.
And down he goes.
Offended by my question if she was part of the slaughter with the Red Company, Jewelry Boy makes his voice heard again, but it's pretty clear she had nothing to do with it. When she hears I'm going after the Red Company, she lets me go. But I don't get far until Jewelry Boy offers his services.
I just bested you. I beat you in a duel.
A little on the offense, he apparently let me beat him for the sake of getting answers. And I can't say I enjoy being called Peasant Tiso, but I let him join anyway. With him in the party, I don't get violently assailed when leaving the forest, so that's a plus. We get to Termano, tussle with the Red Company captain, and Cax, now dripping in glory, turns back to Tucson. I grab a drink with the barkeep and hop on over to Itse, who, incidentally, hung up the old murdering hat and started a new life as a squash farmer.
Arco any %. Nice. Not for me, become a squash farmer. Bam!
But squash farming ain't for me. I'm all about the killing. With the murderer's hat back on, I went grave robbing. Took that necklace and angered a shrine with a desecrating offering. To top off the guilt trip, I pulled a couple of teeth from a poor sod onto this rock. Oh yeah, we're definitely on the right track now. Climbing the stairway to Tsuanar Temple, I feel an icy coldness grabbing me, pulling me inside the temple. I grab the shovel and uncover one of the secret paths before smacking the mimic, claiming the entire medallion piece. I am inevitable. Bye bye, uncle, we will miss you. Hello, hello, Trascos, which I helped this time around as well. For an ungodly amount of sticks. You know, if I woke up tomorrow and had to start with 0 sticks all over again, I'd harvest a few sangos and sell them to Mr. Trasco.
Oh, those are sticks. Entrepreneur, hold 15 sticks. I thought that was something else. See you later.
But I'm not here to make friends. Not until later, and that with the Oxalotls. So I had to reload to nick their precious flambar, and then... I killed them. And it felt great.
You feel terrible looking at the little bodies.
Anyway, I took the hunter by his word again, hid and waited for the marauders to appear, only to kill them all again. And this time, I finished the job before getting into the semantics of who attacked who first. So now I've got a donkey I'm going to sell. I just need to find the right buyer. So then my companion and I paid 20 coins to jump on this canoe, taking us one step closer to Tucson.
What a nice boat.
But we got a couple of stops before gracing the city with our presence. The game tells me to feel bad for taking the donkey, but I disagree. Best decision of my life. I take a peek behind this waterfall, gifting a tasty worm to a bunch of axolotls, and open a chest. Booby-trapped, it shoots a poison dart right in my face. I pop an antidote and feel better, but 5 minutes later I pass out and wake up in Tucson anyway. I do all of this twice, by the way. Safe to say I found the save and load function.
Double vax. Get needle twice. Thank you.
Did you happen to notice the Oxalate city we passed on our way to the waterfall? I have a need to befriend its citizens. Having killed the Trascos, the Oxalate's distant cousins, and generally having too much guilt, they choose to greet me with the spear. Unfortunately, I didn't have a save before desecrating those graves, so I guess I have to play up to this point again. I should really plan these things out in advance, but I'm also conflicted as I like to experience a game free of spoilers for the first playthrough. I arrive back with my boat, guilt still sky high, going down south and crossing paths with Dave the Diver, Jungle Edition. Releases late 2025, I believe. Dripping in sweat, he's changed by hoppity demons, which I so kindly obliged to remove from his vicinity.
What statue? It was a strange old ruin. I'll draw you a map so you can avoid it. Where's your gratitude, oh little man? Oh, of course. Here's everything I have.
I find the statue, which is obviously guarded by more lickety toads. I escape with my life and enter a statue where I try and leap over a deep pit filled with spikes. I slip and die, of course, and then make it to two gnarly looking paths. Choosing the left one, it collapses, and I'm again greeted by death. Beyond the right path, I found a cauldron with a funky looking green liquid.
Okay, drink. It burns your mouth, then your throat. It only gets worse from there. The pain is it's a pretzel. Damn my curiosity.
Incredible. The chance of failure for each obstacle is 50%, and somehow I managed to hit the jackpot 12.5% of choosing the wrong path for each obstacle. Genius can be measured in different ways, I suppose.
Damn, mate, toads. He's big, isn't he? He's so big boy, isn't he? Yes, it is. Very big boy.
This chunky fella could still dunk and burrow deep, but even though his fungi friends spread over the entire scene, he was still kinda easy. The pig-nosed amphibian then transformed to an old man, naked no less, whom I decided to kill, almost instantly. I then hear faint whispers coming from the next room behind a door of solid stone. My fingers seek the medallion. Placing it in the socket, the door springs open and I find a big boulder.
Come to me.
I fight visions of many skeletons, and upon re-entering the physical world, I can feel the power course through my veins. Outside again, I make it to Tucson, where I pop a save just before talking to this developer character for the True Supporter achievement, and then head to the arena, where I first need to hit level 10, gaining 1 rank for each victory. At level 10, I can enter a tournament and hopefully become the GOAT of the arena. So I fought a dude. Then I fought more dudes. And then I faced a horde of fireflies. The only 2 fights that gave me any kind of resistance were these beetles, but I crushed them with those enormous feet and saw my rank soar to the sky.
Your rank is now 10, and I'm a legend! You're a legend, mate!
Before I could enter the tournament though, the arena master needed a favor. The FedEx kind. I packed my donkey and headed to an outpost just west of the city, where I picked up the package and surprise surprise got ambushed. Freaking ambushes, man. Dismantling the whole situation, I get a recruitment recommendation from the captain's guard. Thanks, no thanks. I'm here to conquer the arena. Maybe later. Delivering the package, I'm eligible for the tournament. The tournament will consist of 6 fights in a row, but you're able to heal up in between rounds. And so my fate would be sealed upon the sands of the arena. It was various degrees of difficulty, with easy battles such as a couple of bandits and a magic ball flinging shaman. Fight 4, and I got paired with Gina. She was rather squishy. She played her part, no doubt, but it was I, Itse, who pulled off some fantastically devastating moves.
Round 6. Fight. He's poisoned. Yeah, what happened?
The crowd booed and called me a cheater. Incredibly rude, if I might say so.
We do not tolerate cheaters here. Do you yield? No. Have it your way. But, get up. But.
This is where the arena subliminally asked what it is we're made of. Flesh and blood to the look of it, because I died more times than I could count. And the fight didn't end with me killing these 9 units. No, there were multiple waves of these fellas. Their shields caused quite the problem for me. But I had an ace up my loincloth. I replaced my slice with a health buff, regenerating 1 HP for 2 turns. So this is me, spamming the health buff and running away until I'm back at full health for another attack. Over and over. I was on the brink of a breakthrough, handling the 4th wave when I bit off more than I could chew.
And I can't leave this place. Can I? I can't leave.
I had 0 coins to my name and I wanted to stock up on dynamite, presumably to come back and blow them all to Kingdom Come. So I gave up my spot for now and decided to take a step back and do the only thing I saw logical, which was to start over from the beginning, again, until I would finally arrive back at the Cliff Village and the city of Axolotls. With the Trasco life spared and a guilt intact, the little familiar creatures would greet me with worms instead of spears, which I kindly accepted, of course. What a great gift.
Ah! You're greeted by a crowd of similar-looking fellas, all gasping excitedly as you enter. Wow!
They led me into the heart of the city and through extreme arm-waving gestures, asked me to vanquish the terrible monster that had them trembling in their tiny little bodies. Boarded up in the end of the cave, I took a deep breath and entered the monster's den.
Mari.
It turns out the horrible monster was just a horrible human. I don't blame them for calling him a monster though. This madman had apparently been munching on their delicious meat. I divided him into pieces accordingly and emerged a hero.
You return in triumph and pump your fist in the air. The crowd of Oxalate just waiting outside goes wild! You gain 5 experience. After the noise settles, a baby Oxalate comes with gifts. Ha-ha! Arra! Arra! Mira, arra! You thank them and get going.
With the Oxalotls alliance forged, I could head back to the arena with dynamite in hand. It still took me a fair bit of time, but after 5 gruesome waves of guards, Franek, the developer, finally interrupted me. He slid in a sneaky compliment about my prowess before throwing me in jail. Shocking behavior, really.
Well, if it isn't my partner in crime.
That partner in crime was Kiva, and apparently we're getting executed together. He had clearly been framed for a crime he did not commit, namely concocting the poison I allegedly used in the arena. Reluctant to wait for the noose to fall around my neck. I mean, my neck is thick, but it's not that thick. I borrowed a hairpin from the shaman and chipped forth a rock from this wall. It says useless, but most of my useless rocks have so far been proven useful. I also found a skull, a larva, and a few small mushrooms. Handing all the items to Mr. Shaman Inmate, he grinds it all together, adding a small crystal as well as a few drops of my blood. Bada bing, bada boom, and we got ourselves a skull bomb. I blow up the cell and blind the guards at the same time. And on my way out, I noticed Gina from the arena, working on her escape too. She asked for a little help, and I said, no, I don't think I will. I'll just grab my items and leave it to the guards. Outside, I part ways with Kiva, who's not very interested in revenge it seems, but points me in the direction of the Red Company. Shocking. I managed to outpace the guards to a clear-cut forest, and lucky me I can still see that I have the donkey in my party. I zoomed over to this gentleman, wary from his travels and endless fighting for someone else's cause. I gave him a meal, a couple of those shrooms that killed me earlier, but perhaps this individual is smart enough to cook them before indulging.
He wishes you luck and hands you a bottle of clear liquid. He says it's a gift. Vodka. He's a Russian man.
In accurate detail, he describes where he saw the Red Company man matching my description. I then moved closer to the sawmill, where I find more newcomers. I figured I should scold them for taking down all the trees, but nature intervened.
They're back. Run. Trasco? Where did you come from? Ah! The workers get swarmed by a crowd of angry Trascos. Some manage to escape, the rest cry out short-lived calls for help. The little savages ignore you and drag bodies into the forest. Oh my god. The scenes. Well, that worked out good, donkey.
One of the workers left behind a wooden doll. It reminded me of a four. Out on my precious savannah again, there were more tree-cutting tree cutters. And I think their whole world revolved around cutting said trees.
Cutting trees, cutting trees. Cutting trees, cutting trees. I see you're cutting some trees. Cutting trees!
I then found a most unpleasant woman. The whole conversation was a waste of time really and left me feeling sour. In the village over, I finally made some progress selling my mule, and it's precisely to the guy you'd expect.
Atsi, welcome traveler. Not from around here, are we?
15 coins may seem cheap for a fully functioning donkey, but I also don't want to upset the space-time continuum, so I struck an accord.
Stock trader, sell a donkey to Atsi. Choo 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 choo.
Sad I'd lost my one and only travel companion, I fetched Hernan before assailing Fuerte Alcantarilla and meeting up with Tiso back in Termanos, which propelled me back to the famous twins Chio and Afur. First thing I did was to fake rescue Suma, which catapulted our economy as much as our guilt, and not long after, we'd selectively chosen to forget about the oasis as well. Very nice. The dust transfer went equally sideways this time around, and I again invited a brew to track down the thieves together. My intentions weren't that of peace though, as when we found her old pals I claimed she broke her promise and fighting ensued, slapping the life out of her and her crew, and I'm consumed with regret. In a good way. I pulled up a few fishes from this oasis including a blue babyfish and could therefore attempt to befriend this cat again. What seemed to be a bottomless pit was finally satiated, and I dared stroke my hand on its soft belly. This made the cat talk and regurgitate numerous different items, but I had succeeded.
Did that just happen?
I'm afraid it did, and I will never pet my own cat ever again. Freaking felines, man. Near this butte, 3 astute gentlemen seem to be digging a most impressive hole in the ground. There's also 3 limp bodies right next to the hole. How nice of them burying these random bodies they must have stumbled upon. There's hope for mankind after all. They wave us over and must have mistaken me for someone else, as they all of a sudden demanded double pay. My confused expression set them off, but shovel-wielding bad guys are child play nowadays. And how fitting this big hole was here, well equipped to fit 6 bodies. Perfect. I then climbed the butte, and on top of the mountain I raided a bird's nest, and while admiring the incredible view, I spot a mysterious structure in the distance. I didn't waste any time and descended the butte to find Atagak, where blooded men come rushing out, severed limbs in hand. Seems like a nice place. They of course had to attack me unprovoked. Betrayed by the sands and burrowed sandworms, the desert left the remaining bandits to me. And with trepidation I entered the temple where my first opponent would be skeletons wandering around aimlessly. Not the worst start to this temple run. Through this pantry where I find cutlery and a few truffles among other things, my way is blocked by an overgrown path of vines. I cut down the vines and find a whole new section of the temple. Guarded by skeletons of course, what else? I then investigate these cells and find something extremely disturbing.
That is not what I think it is. It's a baby, or it was. The thing runs at Chio and punches her chin. What is this place? Who jails a baby?
Babies can be criminals too, you know. I can't leave a baby, so with a quick jank, I put it out of its misery. Yep, I did that. Shailu's worm gang popped up from below, and after a great skirmish, a fool reminisced about a previous life as a worm farmer.
You ever miss it? Some of it, yeah. A hint of light enters Afur's eyes for a moment before fading. He misses his worms. Like so many of us. What's this? You hear something rattle in the darkness. Something hits your head and knocks you to your knees. -3. Chio passes away. Why? What the f—
Resurrected, Chio's nostrils were tingling. You know, her own kind of spider sense. From a foul smell coming from the dark hole.
Sun spider? Oh, at least it's damaged.
This spider was a total noob.
Spider remains? I thought we were done! Run! Ah.
Okay, the spider was actually based and gave me a lot of trouble.
Can this work? That can work. Ooh, that was ballsy. That was ballsy, I must say.
He crawled with great intent. His decapitated limbs crawled with great intent, and his many spikes hurt my sensitive buttocks. There was also this weird shadow thing underneath him that I didn't really think about until looking at it later.
Please die. Kill the sun spider. Achievement complete. Continue.
The spider collapsed on the ground and I touched the shadow thingy. Swallowed in darkness, I get these visions of old souls and an image of a giant obelisk blinks in my mind. I shake off the eerie feeling Atagak imposed on us and head to Mutakar, where I stock up on rope and another machete, and then took off to find the foreboding obelisk. The sun stood high this day. I notice a small plank of wood sticking out from the sand, so I take my shovel and find myself a chest. I wrench it open and would you believe it, Sweater Skull says hi. Or more accurately, yeah. Something like that. Surprisingly, he seems to bolt it while I kill his friends. A fool was hesitant about looting the chest, so I did the exact opposite of what he wanted. Kind of my mantra through this whole entire playthrough, really. And I find a mysterious and evil-looking ring.
Oh, there's the obelisk. What are you doing with my obelisk? Get out!
As I approach the menacing rock, I hear faint, familiar whispers.
Come to me.
Join me.
It threw me into obscurity, and I do the whipping dance of the dead for a bit. Metallica? Anyone? Anyways, color me Blackhand. I color Afur powerful, because he was on the receiving end of this newfound power.
Unlocked 3 obelisks. It is done! I'm not sure what is done, but it's done, nonetheless. Alright, bye fellas. We done here.
After all that, I had to hike a great distance. Look at this idiot. All the way to the Red Desert and a certain ghost cave. Without rope, I jumped down and compressed my spine until it snapped in 2. Mission failed. Successfully. The hermit blinded me again and yet again tried to send me to an early grave. Done with deals, I threw down the gauntlet. He spawned many a glowing orbs, but Gandalf here should probably get a yoga routine going because he was as stiff as his stick.
You feel a weight upon your spirit. Killing innocent old men. He was probably blind too. And I don't even care.
With the location of the refinery, I quickly jump into the old hob mine. Not only for the massive guilt I felt the last time I wiped out their entire population, but also for a spectacular multi-kill, which was quite glorious to be honest, wouldn't you agree?
Oh my god.
That was the last stop before hopping back to the dust refinery, where I initiated a key difference from the last run. I told Chio we ought to forget the dust and go home, which she grudgingly agreed to. All this to just eat the same bullet as the last time, but appearances can be deceiving.
Oh, no. This time Chiyo dies.
And so with my female counterpart's heart socket now empty, a fool went berserk. Just look at that pixelated rage. He is mad. I'm so mad that I blow up the refinery and dance on over to the tavern. Say a sneaky hello to everyone at the bar and pack it in before the big day. Tiso takes over and I run straight to the pixelated developer. Supposedly this is the last character I need to talk to before getting the achievement.
You ever had shrooms? You leave the drunk alone. Damn it, I didn't get the achievement. Why didn't I get the achievement?
I'm not sure, as I've talked with everyone and all, and I'm sure I've annoyed every single last character. So I got a little disappointed and frankly a little agitated. But, I couldn't let that come in between my guild trip. I still had a run to finish. Kak showed up out of nowhere, and I thought he was sent here to kill me when this line came up. Fortunately, he just gifted me with jewelry. Supposedly it will ease my journey. Savage superstitions. I also had to decline his suggestion to join the raid. I had enough work on my hands trying to pass off Itse somewhat civilized. In the western sense of the word, of course.
And then bam! Gina! But I didn't save her. How did she even get here? I have no idea. That's weird.
I grabbed all the disguises I could and found myself on the train again. Brawling through the carriages, I found myself in the tender, where the buff coal shoveling men reside. There's just steam of testosterone coming out of every fathomable hole, manly men everywhere. I jingled the gold necklace in front of their noses and they accepted it as a bribe. I got the train engineer to stop the locomotive and the dismount was much calmer. No explosions, no wrecks, no screams of agony. Sweet. I then followed the tracks, mowed down everyone in my path. I even got this cool arrow bending skill. Until the walls of the Red Company headquarters stood before me. I tested their integrity with a little dynamite. They weren't that sturdy, so I get inside and scorch my way to El Gallo again. I disabled his Jaeger with my supreme bow technology and caught up with him at the sacred tree. It was equally satisfying throwing fists to this man's face as ever. Almost euphoric. A foreign Itse actually had to drag me off from this now unrecognizable lump of meat. But what's this? A riddle in the dark? A divine celebration?
No, that's not it at all.
Or is it a trapped soul, doomed to forever carry the weight of the sky? Probably the latter, but I'm not sure. I was a little perplexed on how to end the life of a big blob, so I utilized another new skill. I can only use it once per fight, but it's 6 arrows dealing 1 damage each.
He's shooting as well? Oh! I don't know where to go.
Along powerful projectiles and my own guilt nibbling away, especially at the Four, shadowy spikes came shooting out. Itse had a real hard time of it. Sucked into the void, I could see her remains, or the items she had on her person upon her untimely death. Without Itse, I decided to start over. Stepping forward, a well-placed shatter orb and she's down to 28 HP within 2 rounds. I whacked these wisps and skeletons for a bit and came shooting out. And then Itse ate another volley, so I gave up. But for the third try, I put it all together. Barely scathed from the first trip to the void, and I kept Itse in the back. Some choreographed bullet dancing, and I could deliver the fatal blow.
Is she dead? Dark Path killed the Huntress. Oh, she was a beast. She was a beast! What's happening? Void has taken us? What is going on? Okay. I think something bugged out. Okay, that was really annoying. Whatever. I can do this again. So I can't kill... So annoying. Do I have to get inside there 3 times and...
I had amassed an ungodly amount of DPS, too extraordinary for this game. My only hope was to not utterly annihilate it before the void, phase 3. Come phase 3 and I was also robbed by squeaky bandits, thieving rodents. With some well-placed mathematical arrows, I left the hunters at 5 HP when entering the void for what I hoped to be the last time. Itse spun around the world, killing a horde of wisps, spawning in more skeletons. God, there's so many skeletons. Also, Itse died from this white cylinder ghost thingy. But, back into reality, and I finally got her down.
Let it be over. Let it be over. I think this is... Okay, this is much better. Sorry to say, but you're dead.
An alternative path gave us an alternative ending, somewhat darker than the previous one. Tiso got his revenge, but wandered restlessly until the end of his days. Afur bathed in riches, but could never get over his sister's death. And Itse got her wish of becoming infamous.
But I'm still missing 2 achievements.
Those 2 would be the wall hugger, which is to find all dungeon secrets, which I'm sure I did, as well as true support, talk to all developer characters, which I'm also positive I've done, all in the same run. I took Tiso and Atsi to rediscover the bandits' camp secrets, ran to the mountain temple and snuck behind this boulder, checked the pantry and the library with Itse's temple run, talked to Fayer, and kicked in this wall in the cellar of the place in Tucson.
Wall hugger, discover all dungeon secrets. I already did all this.
I did the entire arena sequence just to talk to Franek again, which I'm not even sure counts toward the achievement. Talked to this customer in the bar with Itse, obviously did the entire story with Afur and Chio before saying hello to everyone in the same bar with Chio as well. And then finally, with Tiso, chatting with Mr. Pixel Art Man himself.
Fucking machines can take my job. Pixel art is gone. True supporters, yes! Oh my god, I did all this the last time. I did all this the last time and I didn't get the achievement for some reason. But I did it all. I did it all. And we got it. We got it. We're at 100% of Arco. It's been a journey. Crossing scorching desert, climbing the highest towers to save the princess. Oh.
I was way up past my bedtime for this. But look at this glorious monument of my 100% achievement run of Arco. Quite pristine, if I may say so. Anyway, I really enjoyed this game, all its characters, story, intertwined events, combat, and its really juicy and fun pixel art. Well done to you developers. Alright, cheerio.